What is going on, everybody? Rajay back in the house, and I am here with special guest Mickey Bryant from Black and Brew Chicago. What is going on, Mickey? How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, Rod. How are you doing?
Doing well. Ready for the weekend. We are at the weekend. I've been trying to enjoy the weekend, but
Right.
not ready to go back to the work
Right.
week, I should say.
You haven't even let Monday get here yet.
No. Well, I'm a little thrown off today because last night I had trouble sleeping and I couldn't get to sleep for whatever reason. And by the time I fell asleep, I think it was around 5 or 6 in the morning. So
Ooh.
by the time I woke up, it was like 2 p.m. So my day, I've been running all day, like trying to catch up on everything. So I like to get up earlier than that. I mean, I like to sleep in, but not that long of a sleep. So I'm thrown off a little bit on how my day is going, especially since like work's tomorrow. So I feel like I lost half a day on my weekend. So that's no good.
No, you did. You did. That's what you think is Monday.
It's like, this is messed up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
But it's great to have you here. And we're going to talk about Black and Brew Chicago and the things that you're doing there. And for the people that are tuning in, you guys know how I do. Usually when I have a guest on here, I'll try to get to all your comments, questions, things along those lines. I may not get to a lot of the salutations that you guys like to share just because I want to keep the focus here with Mickey on kind of the stuff that we'll be discussing. But feel free to hit the comments with any questions you have. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this. We're actually right now live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So any of the questions that come in, I'll see those pop up here in the comments as well. But Black and Brew Chicago, give me the 411. Let me know what's going on.
All right. So Black and Brew Chicago, just to give you a little background, we are Black and Brew Chicago Incorporated now. Mm-hmm. We are a nonprofit, charitable nonprofit organization. Our goal, our mission basically is to advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion within the food and craft beer industry, but primarily the craft beer industry. And we do that just a few different ways. We have programs like through community outreach. We also have different programs, different things that's for education. And also we have different things that we do to work with the community and work with the breweries and work with recruiting community colleges, mm-hmm. things for employment opportunities. So it's taken on a life of its own. And we have, right now we have four chapters now. We have 2 in Black and Brew Youngstown. Mm-hmm. We have that's in Northeast Ohio. We have Black and Brew Cleveland, and we are officially done with everything. So we are welcoming in the next couple of weeks Black and Brew Delaware, and it will be, it'll be managed by the talented man of Brews and Banter podcast. And so our philosophy altogether, as a whole, as an organization, our philosophy basically is, in order for us to realistically see the cultural, like visually see the cultural and social landscape of the craft beer industry change, it has to be a lot of different field offices, educating people, having different events, uplifting people, like doing things like going when Black breweries or something is opening. Mm-hmm. And coming, we don't come just thirsty and hungry, right? Right. We come in with internships, we come in with scholarships to help uplift it. So that's our philosophy, sort of like like a model of the Urban League, the National Action Network, Black Lives Matter. You get more exposure in greater numbers, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. right? And so now that it's 4 chapters, we're going to focus on that, and then we're going to also come together, work together. But it's all about going around the country, boosting each other up, uplifting the Black community, but educating. Mm-hmm. My thing is I don't know if I haven't talked to you really, but I'm actually a instructional designer. So I'm a training developer.
Got you.
And that's where Black and Brew Chicago came from, the model of Black and Brew Chicago. We actually applied a learning theories to it, because the way I felt when I first started with beer is you could bring people to the brewery all day long. You know what I mean? They could be with
Mm-hmm.
you all day long, but if they're not educated, if they don't understand the different breweries, they don't understand the different types of beers, they don't understand on the workforce
Mm-hmm.
and the consumer side, the opportunity, socioeconomic, political implications that's there, they won't come back. So and the opportunity's there. So
Yeah.
that's what we did. And so I've seen a couple of people in Ohio. They were like, "Oh, let's do this." So I said, "Okay, this seems right. This seems
Mm-hmm.
right while we are in the momentum, being able to help each other and
Mm-hmm.
being able to uplift each other. And it's just taking on a life of its own. And I feel really good about it."
Good. Well, it seems like you're having some pretty good success with it. I forgot to mention too, by the way, it is a beer drinking channel. So if you do have a beer, feel free to
I
crack it open
do.
as well. So
You already know. Oh yeah,
yeah.
I
So,
do. I do.
I'm actually pouring one right here. But so what has like kind of the response and everything been out there? What are you finding from what you're doing with everything as you're meeting the different breweries? And I've got your website here that I'll pull up in a little bit too to share with everyone.
You know, Rob, I'm going to be honest. I think that they're getting it now. I think
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of the breweries that were already, because I even do assessment questions to even when a brewery approaches me, I do
Mm-hmm.
assessment questions to sort of weed out and understand if you really want diversity or did you really want people of color in your brewery drinking beer.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two different things. And so I believe that they understand. So let me just give you an example. When we do an agreement with breweries, it's a collaboration. It's an educational experience. It's not. Um, we always ask for we want the whole history. We
Mm-hmm.
like the owner to tell us the inspiration behind the brewery because that it makes you connect more with the brewery.
Right.
We do like the brewer. I love the people that work there, but we ask for the brewer, the person who actually does it, to give us a tour and a mouthfeel to finish tasting,
Mm-hmm.
um, so that people understand that. And we've gotten lucky. A lot of the breweries that are really into trying to reach out to the community, they have like chemists and different things like that as
Mm-hmm.
some of their quality control. So we even get to draw from their talents, and get to experience their talents. So it's been working out really well. We've been able to place one brewer, but in Chicago, it's not a whole bunch of brewers. But we've been able to successfully connect up and
Mm-hmm.
coming Black breweries with already working brewers to help them advance too. So those are the connections that we're making. We like the hype people. We're that hype person of craft beer here in Chicago.
Yeah. Funny. I got some Chicago beers I need to still drink. Actually, I've been the last few months. Hot Butchers has been hitting me up with stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
some great beers they're doing out there. But one of my buddies, Dave from the Beer in Front podcast, he shot me some of the Dovetail beers, which I've been wanting to
Oh
drink for a
yeah.
bit. So I got a few of those I need to hit this week, including one of my more favorite styles has become Roush beers, and so he hit me with one they came up with. So I don't know
Oh
if
yeah.
you had a chance to check that out up there or not, but I was like, they're doing Roush beer here? All right, definitely.
Oh, if you ever come here, you have to get Dovetail. I was up there 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. They have like the you're talking about Western European, like seriously true to the game.
Mm-hmm.
What even their equipment they brew with, but you get the from the beer styles. I love it. They have this Roush beer, and they have them in different ABVs or what have you. But if you want like the tradition, like a beautiful Kolsch, beautiful lager,
Mm-hmm.
they have the Craigs, they have the Framboise. I mean, all of that, and they serve it to you in a traditional style, like with the glassware,
Mm-hmm.
the way they serve it, and all of their beer is beautiful. So I
Yeah.
think you're going to enjoy it. I had a Doppelbock, and they have this one Roush. It's like 9.5. It's something. They try to
Yeah.
knock you off your feet too, but but yeah, if you want from sessionable to like sleeping all day type beer, you can go to Dovetail. I really like it.
Yeah, they were brought up to me by another friend previously. Usually every about a year and a half or so, I'm usually in Chicago for something, and
Mhm.
with the COVID thing, last year. It wasn't up there. Usually my wife has to go up there for conferences, which is great because she has to go to a conference, so the hotel and stuff. Like we drive up, and I get to just drink beer around the city for the few days that I'm there, right? So I get to go to the different spots. And Dovetail, I wasn't able to make it out to. I made it out. The last one I went to when I was up there was Lagunitas, and I knew people at Lagunitas, so they took care of me when I came out there. We had a good time and got the tour and got a chance to check out stuff. But I'm getting more and more stuff coming down from Chicago. I was doing a review last night on one from Off Color, and I found out my thing didn't record properly. Yeah. So I had done one of their the Dino s'mores is what I actually had done, and then and I went back to check it, and it didn't. My audio, I was trying something different, and the audio mic didn't work, and I was like, shit. So I still have their coffee one, so I'm going to share their coffee one. But the Dino s'mores was pretty solid from Off Color. Again, another brewery I heard a lot of good things about coming out of Chicago.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
Oh yeah, Off Color makes some really good beer. They make some different type stuff. They have when you were talking about the Dino s'mores, that's really good. And they have a couple of other beers that's just like made just with cloves, and they use resinous, like like spicy stuff and some different types of things that's different,
right?
Sour, fermented stuff. So it's really good. But I have not had one thing from Off Color that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Because I like to play around with my palate too. I am a lager, pills, and then I go all the way extreme to Belgian Strongs. But I'll do a good barley wine. I'm like that mood person. I've drank more stouts being in COVID because of all of the happy hours on Zoom happy hours. And so I have stepped out of my box and just, I'm always open though, and play around with everything.
No, that's a good thing with beer. So many different styles. You're always getting involved in different things over a period of time. So that makes it pretty freaking awesome, of course. So, but I'm a big Belgian type drinker for the favorite style, so to speak. But IPAs and stouts behind it. But I go the gambit. I'm just, I was joking around on the channel. The one thing I'm not big on is like the shandies. I have enough on a shandy I can actually enjoy. So.
I don't even remember I haven't had a shandy. I had a shandy one time. It was like, man, I was like, okay, yeah, this is a Coors mixed with some lemonade. That's pretty good, right? Give me the lemonade. I mean, that's basically what it was,
It's weird, but I'll enjoy a rattler, but the shandy will just be too sweet to me at a point. And if you're actually sitting there to enjoy a beer, it becomes to me too syrupy after a point. So it's kind of like if I went to chug something on a hot day, I could probably chug that and be fine with it. But I'm not there when I'm chugging beers like that anymore. So it's definitely
then I'll tell you, like, if you like just chugging beers, you're gonna love the Dovetail lagers. I mean, that's fun. You can just like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. You only have to go near a shandy or their coffee. And now another thing too is if you do happen to actually go to Dovetail Brewery, literally one block away is Beguile Brewery, and their beer is just as good. I mean, they have totally different styles. But it's like literally one block away.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see people stumbling from one, after a while, these people just zigzagging from one block to the other. Everybody start off happy and hold hands. Next thing you know, people out in the street walking all crazy.
Yeah. Well, we get that here in Cincinnati a lot now with all the different breweries that we have. They're in pretty close proximity. So you'll see people staggering from one to another.
Yeah. That's what you're going to see. You just be like, oh, okay. Yeah. You came from there. Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you.
It's shout out to the people watching. We had Rod X. He was asking what we're actually drinking, and I'm actually just drinking one of the Goodwood Hemp Goza ales. They're out of Louisville, Kentucky. So I decided to grab one of them, get a little bit closer there.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it's a nice one. I picked up a 6-pack when I was down to Gorge and had not seen it up here. I'm big into hemp beers, so I like to see what the hemp styles are like.
Okay.
And not seeing it first time seeing a hemp goza, it was like, I like Gozes. I like that style. I like that little bit of that saltiness on the back end you get from it.
Yeah.
That little refreshing quality. So throwing a little hemp, I was like, well, let's check it out. So been pretty pleased with it.
I am drinking Illuminated Brew Works. This is a blonde stout. It's a white stout, I'm sorry, with coconut and pineapple.
Oh.
It is called, it's delicious. If you're not into yoga, and I am not into yoga, so this is right up my alley. It comes in at 13.
Oh, look at you at 13% on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but it's really good. Illuminated Works. They don't actually have a tap room or anything down here, but they're right in the West Loop here.
Mm-hmm.
Not far away from Goose Island, Finch. Well, Finch that's their distributing there.
Mm-hmm.
On Tour, District Brew Yard. All of them are in that area by Ashland. I don't know if you're familiar with that area over there.
Okay.
But they make some of the most delicious blonde stouts. Elmhurst is a little far, but they're the only ones that they make a really good blonde stout too. Like I said, I've been on this stout kick since COVID. I mean, like I don't know. It is literally in my head, and I had it. This was some psychological stuff. Like I just felt like in October you have to go all around and get Oktoberfest, like run around. And Oak Park Brewery, that's right around the corner, is like he makes the best. Like he's traveled all over the country, and that's who we do. Actually, we do a beer diversity university with them. Because the philosophy is we like everybody to know about all types of beer, not just American style. We parallel it. So we have a session with Belgian style, German style, and British style. And it's a PowerPoint presentation, and you drink the beers from the region as he does the presentation. So it's really cool. Yeah. And then I'm like with all of our, what I call learning experiences. And when we do the tours and different things, I like to, like I said, about the learning theory, I like to build like on people's knowledge. So we include books, like, I'm always pushing books like the Chick's Guide to Beer from Jen Price, who is the Atlanta Beer Boutique on, and the Craft Women Connect. This Ain't the Beer That You Used To by Dom Ducci, Cook, Beer Culture. So I like people to actually read literature, like read books. We're really about building on your knowledge. So when you go to some of our Beer Diversity University classes, it's about 2.5 hours each one. What Black and Brew Chicago likes to do is add a little spice to it. So we give you glassware from each region. But yeah, so that's another thing that we do.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to say now, I mean, with the organization, I know, we're focused with the Black and Brew, but you guys are also working with other groups too, like LGBT and others. It's kind of pretty much not what's the word to say, the main fold of what people identify as a craft beer drinker. Everybody else outside of that, pretty much.
Yeah. So what's so funny though, Rod, is that when we do assessments, like, because I do assessments, I'm an assessments person because I always like to see, okay, what can we work on? What can we find out that's lacking that we can build on? I try and find about 2 to 4 things. And I've been doing assessments like, a lot of these breweries do have LGBT, people employed or what have you, LGBTQ or what have you employed there. But the thing is and there's not a lot of Black people, which we've been trying to, get that up. And there's some women here. I think what the problem is when people get hired at a brewery, and then they're there and they may have goals of being a brewer. They may have goals of, just trying to find out more about the business end of it. Breweries will hire them and assume, like, and they might be greeters, which is fine. That's what you're starting off with. Everybody start off with an entry-level job, but they call that diversity. And the what I do is if you're getting referred by Black and Brew Chicago, what we want to do is, if you are coming in, we have a success path.
Mm-hmm.
If you're coming in as a waiter or something like that, and that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if you have goals of doing more, then we try and make sure that happens, because we don't want it to get to the point where, these breweries are saying, "Oh yeah, we're diverse. We have these pictures. We do this or that," but you're really not setting any standards or allowing people to see where they can advance.
Right.
In the brewery, but yeah, so LGBTQ, women, people, Black, Indigenous people of color, we do it all. The primary goal is like Black. I mean, literally in Chicago, it is unreal that there is not one Black brewery, Black-owned brewery here.
Yeah, considering the numbers, yeah.
Considering these numbers, right?
Right.
162 breweries, and you're gonna say there's not one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing is there's one Black head brewer, and that's that. If you ever come here and you meet me for beer, my home, like how people have home churches, I have a home brewery, and that's my home church. And I'll tell you, right? And so that is a Lulu Brewery in Pilsen, Chicago, lower west side of Chicago. He's the only head Black brewer, but it's not just because his product is good.
Yeah.
And I like nano breweries because they put out they have, he was saying, his name is Jason James, and he has this, he has the room to sort of experiment,
right.
So he makes some of the best he had me drinking seltzers. Like, we talk about shandies. I'm like, nah. I said, this guy got me drinking a seltzer.
That's the other S word.
Right. Yeah. His cousin, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
but they also have like the whole block. It's like the neighborhood. Like, it looks just like a typical, Chicago neighborhood, but they have huts. So they were like, nah, look, y'all in COVID, it's too cold. Here, we got some huts. So they have huts, but they have really good food, but the beer is just excellent.
Yeah, definitely. And it's I had Sizzle on, Sizzle, that opened the brewery up in Dayton, or no, Columbus, right? Anthony Perry.
I know who he is. Actually, one of my friends went to their grand opening and sent me 3 crowlers of his beer, and it was good.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, well, he's making some big strides up there in Columbus. So he's all on me. Like, I'm like, dude, once we clear this stuff up, I'm set for my second vac. I'll get to Columbus, and I'm going to definitely, hit him up there and stuff. He's like, you got to come check out these recipes. I want you to come check out. But he said, he's having great success, but he was the first one in Columbus to actually have a brewery there. Of course, we got Chris up at Black Frog up in Toledo. He has his brewery. Yeah, he does his brewery just here in Cincinnati. Brian, I can't remember Brian's last name. They just opened up one as well. Became the first minority-owned brewery here in Cincinnati.
And I saw I know who you. I mean, I don't know him, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I had a chance to meet with him because I was actually in some of their earlier meetings when they were getting investors and stuff together and having us sampling the beer and everything. And he actually left Mad Tree, which is a great brewery we have here in Cincinnati as well.
Mad Tree,
yeah, he was one of their head brewers, and he left there to open up this on his own as well. So they're actually rolling with that now too.
Yeah, because now Masthead is there too, right?
I think Masthead is now. Yeah, I think Masthead was one of the newer ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got one of my friends in Cleveland just sent me some really good Masthead. I'm telling you, they're turning me into stout people. They're like, oh, you got to try this. I'm like, oh, here we go, some more stouts. But I mean, it's really good. But so the thing is, if it's successful, there's 2 right now. Black brewing companies is trying to open here in Chicago. The first one is Turner House, Turner Haus Brewery.
Okay.
So they actually, I was able to connect them with Lulu, and Jason, he allowed them to brew some of their beer there. They they're doing some good things. Like they're doing good beer, and they said that they have some stuff coming up. So hopefully, they'll be opening up. Their beer is really good. Like they have an IPA, and what's so unique about theirs that it is all about. It is. You're talking about like history. All of their beers are named after their ancestors that have passed on, and it is like. I don't know how Aunt Gazelle was when she was living, but the beer is delicious, you know. And I mean, they have Gazelle, and they have they just have so many different beers in Scotch ale. I mean, just all over the map. So they're trying to do something. They're going to be opening, but they're making a lot of strides. Another one is I think Richie and them are just sort of getting started, like looking for it, but it's called Funky Town Brewery. Okay. So they're going to be trying to open, they're going to be opening soon too. So we'll just see how it works out. I just hope for the best. So far they have, good stuff, good beer. And I just love the fact of being a part of being able to help uplift them and, get them to where they need to be, because, hey, we need the Black breweries.
Yeah.
And they doing their thing.
One thing is, people love good beer regardless, where it comes from. And that's one thing Sizzle's finding out when he's, his brewery turning out. And my homie Tremaine, one of my regular viewers and friend here on the channel, he says, you need to get my man Anthony on live again, Rod. So yeah, we had a great conversation with Sizzle and Sizzle was rattling off some recipes and people are like, where can I get this beer? He's like, well, it's not done yet, So he's had some great ideas on some of the stuff that he's sharing up there. So a lot of good things taking place, and that's what I like to do is try to connect all this, because I see, I read a report last week, 9,000 breweries that they had through the end of last year. Only 1% were minority owned or Black owned. Actually. So there's definitely room for expansion, and there's room for opportunities that are being missed. So there's a lot of things that happen out there where they're just missing this market. And the thing that you learn, or I learned over the years, and you probably did, it's just kind of like, it's not really represented a lot of times in a lot of the Black communities, or maybe the Latina communities and these other communities. It's kind of like, there's a lot of good beer out there that we actually like. And it's kind of like, when we actually start to get a feel of those type of beers, it becomes an opportunity there, and we start sharing it as well. So that's why I explain to people the importance of having that diversity, because it opens up so more many opportunities that breweries are kind of lacking. On the other side, it's also prevents a lot of things from happening that happen too, right? So we could get into the whole thing. We talk about the stuff that happened, whether it's with Founders, whether it's with Brewdog, which they're going under some stuff right now up in Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you heard about the Brewdog thing. If not,
I haven't heard about the Brewdog. It was somebody else that was saying the wrong thing. Doing the wrong thing. But what's up with them?
So with the Brewdog thing, and this is still, they're saying they're investigating, they're looking into. So in Indianapolis, where they have the Indianapolis brewery they set up, there were 4 women that were fired a few weeks back that were all LGBT. And they think that the manager fired them saying for performance, but the way it kind of looked, it was kind of like, did he target these women as well? And then what has happened, and when they started looking at it from Brewdog, well, they fired the manager that fired the women. So it's like, did he do something wrong or whatever? And they still try to say, well, it's performance as well. Then if it was performance, why did you get rid of the guy that fired the women?
Right.
And you didn't offer the women the jobs back. So it's a whole thing unraveling, and they're saying they're running an internal investigation, basically hoping things kick over, I guess. But it's weird because Brewdog is a brewery that, from what I know in the past, they've had a checker type situation. Like, they've done a lot of good things for the LGBT community, like overseas. They
hired a Black LGBT did somebody, right?
Right.
Like the pet.
Yeah. So they were always supportive in that regard. And then they had a couple missteps, like with their pink IPA that time, that people thought they were kind of playing it down to women to drink the IPA, but they were just trying to really raise a cause. So it's kind of like they try to do good things, but sometimes they misstep, I think, sometimes. But this last thing has kind of gotten some people a little worked up as well. So last I saw with them, they were still checking into it a couple weeks ago, but they haven't really released any other statement about it, except saying, they do not tolerate any type of discrimination or stuff like that and everything. So it's kind of a curious type thing that's out there playing.
It sounds just a little piece that you just said. It sounds like they have some wild hair in the marketing department, and they need to invest a lot in risk management and lawyers. That's what it sounds like. It's like, okay, so you're going to run and fire the guy who fired them, but say it has nothing. One has nothing to do with the other.
Right. So either the guy was he was doing his job right, or he what? But it's like, if you're firing him because he fired them, but if it was still a performance issue, why would you fire him along those lines?
Yeah. They're firing him because he's gonna say you did it. Like, you told me to do it. He's probably one of them. But it amazes me how people, they don't know what to do. So I'll tell you. So I do Black and on side of Black and Brew. I do Black and Brew Consulting LLC with Illinois Craft Brewers Guild, and so I've done things with them before, and that's how I still have connected and stay connected with the breweries. But I'll tell you, they're trying to get way more woke than they were like before COVID. Yeah. Because they looking around like, whoa, like, I didn't know it was this many Black dollars out here. So let me act right today. Now we looking all nice, we looking green instead of black. And so all I know is that I did when George Floyd, let's see. It was before somebody was Breonna Taylor before George Floyd or after?
Breonna was before George, yeah.
Okay, so it was Breonna Taylor, and then and then George Floyd, and then there was people doing it. And I mean, we're strong on social activism, right? Just social justice, and so some of the breweries, are doing all the little blackouts and fist pumps and all this kind of stuff, and they would like start getting tore down, like, and they didn't know what they were backing up, like, whoa, like, what are we doing, Yeah. And so I was talking to the lady, the director in Illinois Craft Brewers Guild. I was like, it's just symbolic, that's some symbolic stuff. So I put it this way, because you might not know, because your brewery has been surviving without us before COVID, or you disregarded us, or didn't, you didn't understand. I'll teach you, I do a sensitivity training and diversity sensitivity and now training. After that, after you've known, after you understand it, and you keep doing it, then that's when you can get really slammed or what have you. Yeah. But a lot of them, this is one thing when I do the assessment at the beginning. This is so interesting to me. Is I'll say, what have you done? Like, what is your brewery currently doing right now, to push for diversity, equity, and inclusion? Because see, me personally, I think diversity, I was so sick of diversity panels, I didn't know what to do. Yeah. Diversity is the discussion. To me, I feel like after the discussion, this is just the way I think. After discussion, the equity is the mindset that hopefully you're evolving into understanding that this needs to be equal. And then the inclusion is the action. What are we going to do together to make this happen, right? Right. Equal access, right. Yeah. I was asking these questions, and so, Rob, you would be sitting there looking at some of them as the response like, what? You really think that? So the main thing, when I ask, what are you doing to push for diversity? Well, we gave money to a community garden in the inner city, or we gave food and money to. I said, you do know that all Black people don't live in the inner city, and you do know all Black people don't go to community gardens. Right. And how in the world does that have anything to do with equity? But it is socially acceptable, and this is what people, that's what they understand is we want to give it. No, we don't want to hand out. We want to hand up. Like I got that off of TV. Right. We just want you to understand that you might just not be the smartest person in the room, right? We just don't have that opportunity you have. So let's work together. And if you're sincere, then we can work together and do this, right? And putting Black Lives Matter and all that kind of stuff up, that's a step. I mean, because it's pretty bold, especially when you're in an all-white community. But if you show me that you want to work together and go further and educate them, and there has been breweries here that was just waiting to understand, and then there's some that still don't understand after you do it. Because even when we start like having an event, or we're going to do a learning experience somewhere at a brewery, I send them the information, they, okay, or whatever. I still do a walkthrough. I am an energy person. You can say yes or what have you, but if I go into your brewery and I feel uncomfortable and I don't feel welcome, then I don't think there's any reason for us. We're not going to grow here. If I bring people in here for us to have a learning experience and your staff is, or you or whoever is treating us like we don't belong there,
Right.
So there's only been one that I've had to say no to. The rest of them were, they worked out. And to be the way I measure the way we measure success is we have home brewers coming out of Black and Brew Chicago now. We have people who never drank beer. That's like, oh my God, like one friend called me talking about, I just picked up some framboise. I was like, oh wow, you getting all fancy today. 4 months ago, you were like, I don't like beer. That to me is satisfying. That, that is when some of my friends or some of the people that's been in Black and Brew Chicago take pictures and send a picture and say, hey, have you heard about this? And I just try it. Just try it. That's all I need to see.
Yeah. And it's it's what the breweries do to actually move that needle forward, to be able to have people actually try it. It's a lot of the situations that happen, from things that I've done, researched and read and spoke to people about, are often because they don't have the right people in the room when these decisions are being made. So their missteps are not having the right people at the table. So, Boulevard was another brewery that had their issue that took place.
Yes.
And the employees rallied, and employees forced out the bad managers that were there. So that's why, I definitely still support, Boulevard, because they united, they realized it, they took it in their own hands. So it's like supporting them, to me, is like supporting the employees that stood up and said, no, this is all wrong. And they handled the situation. But when you have the right people at the table to help make those decisions, or you're bringing in like a consultants like yourself or whatever to actually address those things, then it becomes a point of what you're going to do properly and move forward. When it was the whole thing with the founder situation, the biggest thing, because I actually know Tracy, so for the stuff that they were there, and he was limited on what he could say to any of us because of the lawsuit pending. But when that diversity manager blasted them in her letter about dealing with the stuff they were dealing with and how she tried to point stuff out and they just weren't listening to it, it was just like, they don't care really about changing. So why even unless you get rid of that management team, like why would I pour dollars into founders? I just won't. So that's the whole thing. And like, you talk about over time, and like I've heard some people say, well, all the breweries kind of do stuff like that. It's like, no, they actually don't. If you actually know what happened, they do not do. So that just tells me you're not really paying attention. Like, I was a big fan of founders. I liked a lot of the beers founders did, but once I found everything happened, it's what you know from that point when you know and how you're going to act going forward. I pretty much cut them off and don't do anything with them. It's, at a certain point, it's got to be people also taking control of what they want to do if they want things to actually change as well. Now, I'm not putting enough dollars in there that's going to make a dent on their bottom line or anything, but at the same point, if I'm not doing it or other people aren't doing it, it becomes an effect. So it's crazy, but I feel like you should never put your money where you're not welcome at. And
exactly.
Yeah. And there's a lot of places that are now changing. They realize that, which is great because there's other opportunities being open. So it's like, if I don't count founders, I don't care. I got 8,999 breweries I can actually check into. Right. So,
right. I can go to a whole nother brewery. Like I don't need to go to your brewery. And now, I just keep on seeing this, like, and I told my mother this too, and she don't even drink beer, but she was the only person I had to talk to about it. And I told her, like, it seems like because we had to stay still during COVID, people starts understanding the connection. You had time to sit back and look like, wow, you had the rug. A lot of these breweries had the rug pulled up from up under their feet.
Mm-hmm.
And now it just seems like the black dollar and the black craft beer culture is way more impressive to them or important to them.
Yeah.
And it's because, and I've been told it's because they didn't know it was so big, right?
Oh yeah.
And even we as a black craft beer culture have been able to connect and expand during COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of us made connections that we probably would have never made. A lot of us have sat down and had discussions, chopped it up over beers or what have you, that we probably wouldn't have never had because everybody would have been walking around, running around doing their hustle,
Right.
But here in Chicago, what I like is working with smaller breweries. Not that I wouldn't work with larger breweries, but there's these little gems of breweries that are already trying to be diverse. Like, I mean, look, this one guy, L-Man Brewery, but he is just production. They don't have tap rooms, but they do have this nice place. We had an event. When I met him, his signature in his email was already diversity, equity, and inclusion. He was naming beers. So I don't think I have to really convince this guy, and so when we came out there, he gave us a really good education. He talked about it. Everybody, that is one of the main places that everybody loved. They loved out in Oak Park. His thing is, Black Lives Matter, but the whole thing is he shows you. He tells you, and then he tells me, he's emailed me before, hey, if you need education, if anybody wants to follow up. So those are the people that, you might not find on a larger scale or what have you.
Right.
But those are the ones that's going to, that'll, when you go to the brewery, you're not the only one that looks like you in it. Yeah.
I mean, the actions speak louder than the words, right? So you have people that are putting those actions into play. Yeah. Which is another thing too. Is kind of, because I'm sure we've both been in the same position. We're probably walking to a craft brewery and we're like the only black person inside. Like it never fazed me just because that's my background. Like I went to Catholic school for the first 6th grade, right? And I was maybe one of 14 black kids in the whole school. So, for a time on, I was used to being a lower number. But it's funny when you walk in there, when you walk into a brewery, and it's just especially like you mentioned COVID, because breweries are, your line of being able to make that revenue is already thin as it is when you're running a brewery. I don't think a lot of people realize that. So you need to find other markets when they're not out there, and you just see opportunities missed that, because I know other people around the area that drink, a lot of craft beers, but they may not be going to the brewery, and it's kind of like there's ways to be marketed to get those people in to help that business grow and stuff. And it's kind of like I've never had any type of issue when I ever went to any craft brewery. I know when I had ABC on, we were talking. She told me she read into things in the past. Yeah. But it's kind of like there's other ways that they can actually be building on a lot of stuff. So it's amazing that more of the breweries don't actually see that or try to tap in. It's kind of like, with what you're doing there with the group and the initiative, it's kind of like, used to be getting calls every week from different breweries, hey, we're looking to do this, we're looking to do that. How can we best get involved to do stuff, right? Emails, and just being hey, we can, do this type of program because there's so much room for growth. Just because in the past, craft beer wasn't really marketed to the Black population or even the Latino population or any of the other ones outside of kind of being, you're the standard craft beer drinker being maybe everybody thinks of a standard beer drinker is kind of a white guy from Oregon with a beard or something, right? So
it was.
So it's kind of like the opportunities, women, a lot of people don't think about the women being marketed to as an opportunity, it's just because, women are supposed to drink wine. They're not supposed to drink beer. There's a lot of women that love good craft beer out there. And it's
very
just
good craft.
And so it's there's all these opportunities that are being missed by these, what I call the frat mindset of some of the breweries. It's just some of them you go into and some of the beer labels you'll see and beer names, it's still a fraternity mindset in some ways. And it's I'll see something somewhere, I'm buying beer and I'm I can see where that would turn off people from actually wanting to try that brewery or something. And I can see what they're saying. It might be like a funny type thing or whatever. If I was like back in college in a frat house, yeah, that might be something funny there. But now out here, I think you're kind of alienating in some types of ways.
Like
it's kind of like
sexist.
Well, some of the sexist type stuff, or just like, and I know the owner of a, say, Against the Grain brewery. They have one called the Brown Note, which is a brown ale they actually do. But the can is a guy with like tidy whities on with the brown dripping down his leg. Like I would never buy that can. No. even though I know that they make good beers, it wouldn't be something that would appeal to me. And I'm thinking they make other beers that I actually don't, but I'm like, are they turning off other people with some of the way they design stuff?
Yeah, I mean, but it does. I mean, people don't understand, like now, the can art and all that, it tells your story, I mean, it tells you what your thoughts are behind that. So it's like I'm sitting there looking at tidy whities. How you gonna drink after that? You're gonna have to get super drunk, like throw beer to the side. Let's just bring out some of that Uncle's Nearest.
Yeah,
like we're done with the beer with the tidy whities. We need something stronger.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how they market, and then it also is interesting. And you're talking about how people look, like you see some of these women, and I just say they're mostly white women. I've never seen black women really do this. And they put the beers all on their breast and all that kind of stuff. And it's like,
like
this is not 1972. Nobody's trying to, market Marlboros, and ain't nobody looking for you. We're trying to drink beer.
Yeah.
So, all of that. So I'm happy that, there's a black selfie page with people that's actually taking pictures with beer, and not doing all that extra stuff, all of that, breweries that probably wouldn't have never emailed me before have been emailing. But I've done it because of COVID. But it's interesting. It was a really nice virtual event. And that's the thing, is a lot of people a couple of breweries were trying to figure out how do we do it virtually. And so we did it with Half Acre Brewery. Have you ever gone to Half Acre?
I know Half Acre. I've had their beers as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean their brewery, their quality guy was a chemist, and he did this whole thing with aroma versus taste buds. And those are the experiences that people will never forget, right?
Yeah.
And so it was really good. And Half Acre is another brewery that was like interested in, how do we do they were open. They were just vulnerable, like, hey, we've tried this. How do we do this? And how we do that? And so I like honest conversations like that. Not, we gave to a garden or nothing like that. And so we got everything together, and it just turned out to be a really good experience because they were really into the they taught us history. They taught us about the brewing process. They taught us about that. So I like that kind of stuff, but they still said that they were going further, and they're still investigating, trying to find out other ways and other things, and probably be getting in touch with me in the future of how to do more.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that open door.
Yeah, definitely. And Chad had mentioned, it goes the opposite too. Yeah, a lot of guys. I just got 6 bottles of wine sent to me here, but there's not a perception, I guess I was saying, out there where guys don't drink wine, like women don't drink beer type thing. That's been more of a perception over the years that, like for women, I don't know if it still plays as much now as it used to be, but it used to be more of a classy thing for a woman to drink wine and sit there at a bar and order a beer, or to order some type of fruity drink or whatever it may be. That was just a perception that they had. And it's kind of like, no, a lot of women enjoy craft beer. They love craft beer. I know a lot of women can outdrink a lot of guys on craft beer. So. Listen,
I'm going to tell you, if you get a real feminine woman, and then you're standing next to me, now I could be standing here drinking a beer, right? A guy walks up and see this super duper feminine women drinking beer, like, you drink beer?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, like, no, I don't look like her, but I'm a woman, but it's like, what? After that. And then it was like, it was funny because some of these people had joined it's a bourbon society.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess they assumed that a guy started. It's a woman.
Yeah.
Like, they were talking all of this man hair, chest stuff, like, oh yeah, if the woman, I'm like, well, wait a minute, I don't think you know who actually started this this page. So it is true what your guest, what your guest was saying, that men drink wine, but we're talking like perceptions. People will really like put you in these boxes, like you don't drink beer, or assume that people should drink beer because you're like a big guy, and it's like, no, beer is not just like anything else. Because I'll drink a good wine if some of my friends are wine drinkers. I'll drink wine, and I'm a bourbon person, but I don't know bourbon like the people in the bourbon society.
Right.
Just give me Basil Hayden, and I'm good. And to be quite honest, I'll drink a Jameson. So it's like, hey, don't get me, going. But it is funny, the perception.
Yeah,
like you said.
That's what it is. It becomes a perception, and funny, both of those whiskeys I got behind me as well. So,
yeah, don't fit in with. So Shalonda, Afro Beer, she is
she's huge.
I told her I'm going to have to come and raid her house one day.
Like,
she probably couldn't get me to leave. She'd probably be calling the city. Like, look, she got to leave because she knows how to cook, and she has all that liquor and all that beer.
Yeah. She's her game. Her game is up there. Yeah, she has it all going.
Right.
But in talking, let me do this. Let me pull up the website, because I meant to pull that up here as well, so we can check that out. So here's the website, which is at babchicago.com for people that are watching and want to check it out. And you have a lot of good information here about what is actually done. One of those, that's like, you have the scholarship that you guys actually work with as well.
Yes. So we have a scholarship too. So when people do work, if we get you a job and you have goals of either staying there, I don't care if you want to be a bar back, whatever. We do certified beer server. We'll sponsor that. Mm-hmm. But I like to also sponsor maybe a forklift or something else you need. I like to fill the gaps. I don't like to be like silent, just like, oh, it's only CBS or anything like that. If people don't understand this, but some people cannot afford uniforms. If if what's holding you back is that you can't afford the uniform, we'll get that for you if that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So we are that organization that fills that gap, that sort of uplifts you to the next level. I'm always thinking of how can we uplift you to the next level. But I can give you a little background about the scholarship itself.
Okay.
You click into it. So the scholarship is the Black Pride Beer Scholarship. So Edward J Mcclellan was actually the first Black man to have a distributing company in the South Side of Chicago. It was in 1969. It was, of course, 51 years before his time. But mm-hmm. He worked he was with the NAACP Economic Development Director, and his goal was to bring something new, like how they had that Coca-Cola rush back in the day. Mm-hmm. And bring something new that would had, of course, social, economic implications, and even, of course, political implications, but to uplift them. But people just didn't. It was short-lived because people didn't get into it. It mm-hmm. was more or less like, look, we need money now. It was more of an immediacy than to look in the future. But I just thought that it would be the best thing to do is honor him with this, or honor his name with this. And I mean, Black Pride, that's really good. I mean, you could take that all kinds of ways.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so that's what it is. So when people do get the scholarship, they get it in his honor, and that makes me feel good. So it's like, okay, I'm actually coming off the back of a person, Edward J Mcclellan, who probably never knew a whole bunch of Black people would be in the beer in this mm-hmm. time. And then I'm also giving it to some more Black people. So I just feel like it's the right thing to do. I just feel like it just felt right when I came across that.
Nice, very nice. Let's see here. And then we also got like the stuff like you were mentioning consultant on here as well.
Yeah, so I do consulting with usually these are for breweries, but we'll also do them with groups, organizations. We do full, you can customize your package. Usually what I get is the diversity or sensitivity training. The social media consulting has come from some of the breweries, like I was saying, because they were posting things that they thought were appropriate. And, it really wasn't, but they didn't know that.
Yeah.
So we went, so I do those are the two. So the diversity brand consulting, and the social media and the cultural sensitivity are the biggest, because for the most part, I go over the equitable, like the employment recruiting, a little bit, in all of them, or definitely if the opportunity presents itself.
With the social media one, is that like happen to blow up after the, like, you see a lot of people like post stuff and they get blown up on social media, and then they're like, are they reaching out then like, hey, we don't know what we're
oh yeah, for sure. No, they really were crying. I mean, they were running like, woo, like ants going to, they was running around. But no, so I'll tell you, so I actually got into beer when I was working in Houston in 2005. And it was only two breweries. It's Carbar Brewery in St. Arnold's.
Oh yeah.
And that's where I started teaching social media trainings. I was me and one of my friends, he was talking about he wanted to start, this was like in 2007. He was talking about he wanted to start some website building something. And we went to the Score, and to find out about it. And so I was just, writing down stuff. I mean, Twitter didn't even have the E in its name yet. LinkedIn. So I just went through, because of doing training, and showed him how to do this. And when we got to the Score, it's the Service Corps of Retired Executives, to show his presentation, right? She said, well, how are you going to market it? And he said, well, my friend just now, she just put this together, and did this, whatever. And so she came to me and was like, do you want to teach this? And from there on, I started teaching social media classes. Then it turned into internet business classes. This was before social media got, ridiculous and all these apps. And so I taught that social media. I was doing only Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook at the time. There was no Instagram. At San Jacinto College, community college, business development, and then I also did it at a couple of non-accredited nighttime schools for. So I sort of have a little background in doing that, and I also do contract. I did contract work with NASA, which is the Space Alliance. So when all of them got laid off in 2008 and blamed Obama, they were like, "Oh, it's because of Obama I got laid off." So I did. Luckily, one of my friends knew someone that was actually the person that was looking for trainers to do exit training. And so I got that particular contract there. So I've been doing this, and then I also do it here in Chicago. I've done it at some of the libraries, but through Score Chicago. So no, I have been doing it, but yes, to your question, it got much more chatter once the Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and those black blocks and fist pumps and all that symbolic stuff was going up. And I'm like, okay, no, should I start this presentation off with no, you out of line, or should I be proper, and professional and do it like, But yeah, so it got a little bit more requests in the craft beer world after that happened. Yeah.
Well, I'd say with like a lot of stuff with the social media, even not just some of the other things, it's kind of funny how somebody will say something at a brewery or whatever, and I read on social media, I'm like, this ain't going to end well. So,
right.
Not even something maybe about race or anything like that. It's just like a response that comes out there, and it's like, wow, like you didn't even think of a second before you put that out there. And then it's funny when they try to delete it and it's like everybody's got screenshots. So it's kind of like you can't just you don't know how social media still works in 2021. It's like
you cannot delete it.
Yeah.
It's over. You just have to go and find somebody that's a good spinner or somebody good damage control, or stay off of the internet while they're trying to get it together. Right? Because if you stay off the internet, like, I'll tell somebody in a minute, if you stay off the internet and give it 7 days, it'll be some more drama. Somebody else have done something even crazier than you that will take the place of your craziness.
Well, even if you do the 24-hour rule, right, before you respond, in 24 hours, your mindset will be in a totally different place,
Look, I say a week, because you say 70, 24 hours, and people respond in 24 hours. People still hot, right? Because so with social media, what I've learned is that, especially now, you get your usage now. It's like you've been on the internet 5 hours in one day, when you used to. So look, those people because the 24-hour rule, you could do that, right? You used to be able to do that, but now the 24-hour rule is 24 hours of your friends or their friends send it to their friends to make them even madder at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, let all of these shares get done. Right. And everybody look at you and just sit there, don't care if they treat you bad.
No.
After 7 days, somebody else done something crazier.
Yeah.
To take your place, or somebody that passed away and they doing a lot of RIPs, so it's like,
well, the attention span in our country is so low anyway, people forget about after 7 days for the most part. So
I think you still just have to give a little bit of room to letting people share.
Yeah,
so I think so too. After a while, it just like, okay, I gotta update this page. So this was the Youngstown launch, and so this was one of the training at Oak Park Brewery that I was telling you about. Mm-hmm. This was the Cleveland launch. Yeah. So those are my cousins. They're the ones that run Youngstown.
Okay.
And that's Ben. He's a big drink masthead. Yes. These are some of the events. Turner House. Now that's the brother at the bar. So yes. Okay. Now that's Jason. He is the
I can't stop it because it keeps scrolling itself.
Yeah, he's that head. He's the head brewer in all of Chicago. And these are my cousins. That's my family. Yeah. But yeah, so these are a lot of different ones of our presentations and our events. And so that's Lynn. She's one of the diversity ambassadors in Youngstown. That's Hannah. That's Dope the Brand. She is one of the diversity ambassadors in Ohio.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, and this is Jim. He is the one that he and I do the Diversity University.
Hold up, is that a Mantry? Hold up.
Yeah, that's Mantry.
Cincinnati represent.
Yes, I was at home. Yeah, I'm from Youngstown. So yeah, that's the Mantry. Yeah, that was that. Yeah. That was that Dova.
That was the Dorado High.
The Dorado,
but the Galaxy High is the one you want. I'm just telling you, the Galaxy High is the top one from it. My opinion.
So that's Paul. Paul is the beer vest guys. He's the one.
You got to dig all the flair. So yeah,
that's Paul right there. He's the beer vest guys. He's the one that makes those beer vests.
Okay.
And he's actually patenting those. So when you go out of, because caps are going out of, they're not doing them anymore. And so he's getting them where you can, if you go out of the country or something, you can share them and like.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing really good. And this is like some of our experiences. I wish I had that picture of some of the. Oh, that's Q. He used to have the only Black brewery here.
That was Q. Q was back here.
Go back here.
Yeah,
right here with the FAMU.
Yeah,
yeah. So that's Q, and he used to own Vice. They had two. Breweries, but they both one went on to be an alderman, and then he works a lot in, and so Leela in the middle, she's another Chicago ambassador. Oh, there she is again.
Yeah, you gotta love all the smiles. That's just beer having fun.
This is Charles. He is the only Black owner of a brewery in the Chicagoland area. He's 22 miles outside of Chicago.
Right
so that's
here.
Charles, that's Black Horizon.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then that's my cousin. But yeah, so see, yeah, that's why I was there with Charles then.
Yeah.
Black Horizon, yeah. And this was a panel that we was on.
There's the book.
Yeah,
yeah.
that was Hey, look,
yeah.
Any presentation we do, we educate. And that's my cousin too. And so this was the Youngstown. So when we do, we have launches. And they're really good because breweries from the area like donate things, and then we do raffles and we do a whole presentation on education. And now he's my cousin too.
Yeah. Family always getting the pictures.
Yeah, my cousins are all in the pictures. My cousins were the ones winning the prizes, and they were like, "Oh, that's your cousins win the prize." And I'm like, "Oh man, I forgot about taking them out of it." But that would have been a whole nother fight to take them out of the raffle.
Yeah.
But yes, this is the guy from Ailman that I said. This guy already had diversity, everything in his. I mean, he was ready.
That was. Let me see here. I can go back.
And those. So if you go back, so the Ailman. Oh, he's here. We haven't gone past him.
Oh, we haven't. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Is he in? I don't even think he's in any picture. We haven't gotten to him yet.
Yeah.
But that's Hip Hop's wife right there. But yeah, so I mean, we have, and these are my COVID crews right here.
Yeah.
These are Fred and Trina. Those are the only ones that I've hung with. He's a photographer. Yeah. Oh, here he is, right there, Brad.
Right there. Okay.
Have you ever seen Hip Hop's?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever seen the name on Instagram?
No.
Here's Turner House. Those are the Black. That's the Black company brewers that's going to get started.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a lot. I mean, we've had so many different things, and so it's funny because when we were having the last one, it's amazing how Black and Brew Chicago has actually grown, and it's like to see all of the Black faces there and enjoying beer. And
well, I like the with the photos and everything as I was going through them here. It's just constantly we're bombarded with stuff on the news or like that, everything, pretty much separating people. And it's just like everybody coming together, all different shades, all different sexes, beliefs, whatever, everybody all together. This is everybody smiling. It's just like, this is how it should be in a community type situation. So it's nice because it has everybody like involved in these photos.
And a lot of them, what's so funny is a lot of them actually now like beer, or they like beer better. Like,
Yeah.
And so it's just like they're like, oh, okay, this is beer. So this is a picture of how they do like they're doing a presentation. And okay, so this guy right here on the right, red and black, he was renting a space, and the guy to the left is the owner, and then the other guy he was renting a space selling coffee. They made a special coffee for a beer for us that day, a Black and Brew Chicago, and they mixed the coffee, and then they gave everybody free coffee. It was beautiful.
That's nice.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, so a lot of good events and stuff taking place, and of course we also
I gotta update this though. I mean, it's tons of stuff that has happened.
Different things on the store as well. Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely have merch, and it's just been a good thing to see. I think the vision that I had, I think that it's going to work because it's going to be. It's working, not it's going to work. It's working because there are going to be different chapters in different areas doing their own thing. The events are definitely outdated, but doing their own thing since COVID. Everybody's like, okay, we're going to do this. I mean, I can only imagine like what the guys from we're going to be traveling a lot. That's all I can say is, the guys from Brews and Banter, they already have a lot of different ideas. Dope the brand, they're brewing in Youngstown, Ohio. My cousin wanted to be head of the Cleveland chapter because she cooks and she does pairing. She wants to do pairings, and so it's going to be such a jambalaya of things, going on. But to me, I think that everything that's different, everybody can learn from it.
So Chad was asking, do you pair wine or beer to food?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Now, do you do that as part of your program as well, or just personally you like to?
So it's not part of the program, but we have had it. So what happens is, it's okay. So this is the part of the community outreach part. So the cookies that you saw in one of the pictures, she was making sugar cookies to pair with the beers that was there. She was making different cookies that would pair for it. So what we like to do is also find Black businesses in that area.
Okay.
And then we sit down with them. So we just make it, and then we sit down with them and the brewer. If the brewer don't have food, and pair those foods with that, just to give that restaurant a shout out, shout or whatever.
Yeah.
Here, Harold's 83 is a homage to the first Black mayor, and Brother at the Bar and Major D, who is Jay West on, they helped brew that beer. Okay. And it's a honey ale. But what was so unique about that, they did it with Haymarket Brewery. But what's so unique about it is that they offer it at Harold's Chicken in the Loop.
That's world renowned. I say world renowned. Like, I don't know if they know about it in England, but in the States, we know about Harold's. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you come here, you got to go to Harold's 87 because it's in the Loop, but they offer craft beer. They offer Harold's 83. So yeah, it's, to me, that's just rich. You know what I mean? The beer is paying homage to the first Black mayor, Harold Washington, right? So you get that. Then you get two Black men working on this, right? Yeah. Then the beer is delicious. And then on top of that, they tap it at a Black owned, just a staple of Chicago. Harold's Chicago.
Yeah.
It don't get no better than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's all good.
It does not get any better than that.
And Tremaine said you're doing great things, sis. So big shout out to Tremaine.
Thank you, Tremaine. Yeah. I just love it. I mean, so when you come here, well, I'll get the fish, but Harold's with Harold's Chicken, you have to have some of that Harold's 83 and chicken. A Lulu, check out their stuff. And like I said, anywhere you can hit. If you want to get the dovetail, you got to get the dovetail. But if you're up in that area, you might as well hit Beguile. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's just. And if you're on the west side, Oak Park Brewery, they have some of the most delicious. And Wild Onion is up here. They have Drago. They have the Drago will knock you off your feet, and it's really good. So it's a lot of different things. And there's a bottle. My favorite bottle shop is in Lincoln Park. It's called BeerVentures. Okay. I don't care what you want. They have it.
BeerVentures. Okay. I have to remember to put that down because last time I'm up there, whenever I go, we drive up there from Cincinnati. So I'm always bringing beer back. And I have not heard of that one. Other people were trying to tell me to go to Wichita. What's the big beer one up there? Benny's?
Oh, Benny's, that's
Benny's, yeah. So, but Promiscuous seems like more to be that craft beer type shop.
It is straight up craft beer. It's a little bit. It's outside of. So it's like in Lakeview, Lincoln Park, like in that area. So it's a little further north, but I mean it's worth it because. So say if you can't make it to maybe but one brewery, or maybe if you're there you can't make it to any breweries. Anything you want in the Midwest to New York City, it's there.
Nice.
And Austin, and they take care of you. They'll be like, oh, okay, all you have to say is here. This is what I want to try. This brewery is what I want to try, or this whatever, and they'll just go straight to it, or they'll give you. And you have to try Malort. You haven't, unless you drink that alcohol, burn your chest Malort. You haven't had the real. You haven't had the real
deal.
Chicago experience. You got to be somewhere clutching your pearls, like about to die, pass over,
Unless the air's been knocked out of you, you haven't tried the real thing yet.
If you haven't had Malort, then you stand there like, oh my goodness, why did I do that?
Yeah. Rob's asking if I tried any from Missouri. Actually, the only one that jumps out from Missouri, really, for me, is Boulevard. But I know I probably had some other Missouri beers as well. I don't know if you're getting a lot coming through your area in Illinois or Missouri. I mean, Boulevard is the big one that stands out that I usually come across.
What is it? What is it? Occupy? OCAPI, I think. They have some really good what is it called? Maple stout. Then there's also what is it called? From Missouri.
I think Mother's is in Missouri. I haven't had them, but I heard they did some pretty good beers.
And see, I'll think about it. Oh no, I'm thinking about Wisconsin.
Wisconsin has enough share.
I don't say New Glarus, but no, I'm thinking about a whole nother state. No, I haven't had a lot from Missouri that I could think of. Besides, it is this one brewery in Missouri, and they have it's a German. It's called. They have a lot of different beers called like Escalol and Chevlol and all this kind of stuff. But I forget the name of it, but it's really good. But I just can't remember the name of it.
There's so many.
But they say that it's right as soon as you get off the train from Chicago. I can't remember the name of it. I can see the can, but I cannot think of the name of the beer.
Tremaine said your one store. He said sounds like Jungle Jim's, but we have a place here. I don't know if you've been to Cincinnati. You ever been to Jungle Jim's down here or not?
No.
Okay, so Jungle Jim's, and I'll share stuff from the store on the channel here. And when I go there, I do beer videos and pick up what I got there. But Jungle Jim's actually was considered one of the top 5 places to buy beer in the country. And it's huge. It's pretty much an adult playground. Like on the channel, I have a video where I've taken people through Jungle Jim's beer section, and people are like, I'd be there like overnight. Like I would never leave. Like, so it's got everything pretty much across the country. A lot of your key stuff outside of if you had to go somewhere to like get Heady Topper or Pliny, something like that. But most of your main stuff you can get through Jungle Jim's. And it's got like taps, because in Ohio you can drink while you shop. So we have taps there. Like they put a cup holder in your cart, so you can. So it's like you're shopping. You're like, I'm gonna stop for a bit. Let me have a beer. You'll be there for a few hours. It becomes a date. No, you wouldn't. And it's like the International Food Market. They have one spot at Jungle Jim's where it's a hot sauce room. Of all hot sauce, that hot sauce is bigger than people's offices I've seen. Like they have hot sauces from all over the world. Like, and people sit there confused trying to figure out what hot sauce to get. So
nice.
But the beers they have, it's great. And then they have these crazy like deals and stuff just because they have so much of a warehouse. They'll be like, oh, get this 6-pack for $2.99 or whatever, which is usually like $15 or something, because they're moving stuff all the time. Yeah, and so like you'll check the date, and the date's like it's still good. So it's like, why would I not take this?
Listen, I wouldn't care if it was a month for $2.
But if you come back down to Cincinnati, this is like the place to go. So they always tease about Jungle Jim's and everything. Like they said earlier, we used to have Jungle Jim's in every city, but it's just a unique place. It's food from all over. I'm talking about like the candy, the candy part they have has like old school type candies and new school. I mean, you could sit there if you got a sweet tooth, you'd be confused on all the different candies they have. You go to the fish place, they have like fish like right there, right in the deli case, all kinds of fish from all around the world, all different types of things they get. So
I gotta go just to go to Jungle Jim's.
Yeah, it's just like you go to town on a Saturday or Sunday, you're gonna run over Jungle Jim's. You just be like, I'm going to Jungle Jim's. Time you back, I don't know, I can't tell you when I'll be back. It's Jungle Gyms. I don't know. I'll be there for a while.
Right, I'll be there for going shopping. Like I'll be like, do you don't want to go shopping?
They literally have a tram they used to run. They people would bring their kids, and the kids would take a tram and it would take them all around the top of Jungle Gyms. I mean, this place is huge. So
that sounds like you got to pay to get in there.
It's got it's
like you had to come up on the jungle.
I mean, for the beer, if I smoke cigars occasionally, they got one of the best humidor areas and cigar areas around. They got like a liquor store that's an annex of it, and they got all the food. I mean, anything you want, you can pretty much get there. It's just like
now. This is Cincinnati, not Kentucky, right?
Yeah, Cincinnati. So there's 2 locations they have in Cincinnati. One was the original, and then another one was the next one. Which the newer one has a little bit more than the original does, but
okay,
it's off the hook. You go there, and it's just like my wife won't even go with me there because she knows I'm going to be there a while.
That's worth like traveling to get there. Like I just
want
to go.
People drive down.
It's gonna take me 5 hours to get to the grocery store. I'll be back.
People
like,
do traveling from out of state. Yeah,
for Airbnbs. I'm going to the grocery store. I gotta go to it. Get an Airbnb.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds so fun. Like, I like that.
Yeah,
it's just a good thing. It's just a good thing. And so, this is like, to me, sort of the beauty of having conversations.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know nothing about no jungle gyms. Now I'm about to worry folks half to death to get to jungle gyms.
Yeah,
you never been to jungle gyms in your life. Now you talking smack.
Yeah, let's see if I have it here. Maybe
you got me on a roll now. I'm ready.
Let me see if I can actually pull it up here real quick.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
See if I have one of the things.
Are you doing a website?
Yeah, well, I got one of the videos here that has it, and I'll show a little bit of it.
So you said there's 2 of them?
There's one in Eastgate, and there's one, I think it's Fairfield, but they're both here in Cincinnati. So let me see here.
No, but the one you're talking about is
the Eastgate one.
The Eastgate.
It's the bigger one.
One.
Yeah, let me take a look here. This is one I did a couple years ago, actually. Almost, it was March 9th. So let me take a look, and I'll share the screen here. For those that haven't seen Jungle Gyms, you're about to witness some fun, some greatness here.
Yeah, see, I would love this place.
So this is the video I actually did out there.
Oh, you did a whole, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, you doing YouTube videos for a place.
All right, guys, Rob J here. What's up? This is actually going to be a new series I think I'm going to start doing on the channel and some of the locations where I happen to buy beer. So this is actually Jungle Gyms. We're going to go inside, check out some of the beer stuff they have to offer, and you can see how huge this place actually is.
Oh, look at that train.
And if you can find some nice beer to pick up today. All right, guys. So this place is actually pretty huge.
Oh my goodness!
Huge. Actually. You go all down.
Oh my goodness!
Glassware, brewing supplies.
They know they're wrong for this one.
Look at the prices: $2.99 for some of the brewing glassware, $1.99.
$1.
They're usually like $6-7 at these breweries.
Stock up on some of the glass collection at home. Not really.
I wonder how long it takes to get to Cincinnati.
For Chicago, I think about 5.5 from what I remember driving.
Yeah.
And that was only one side. This is the other side now. I'm getting over.
And see, they don't take any trains.
It's actually a place where you can actually get your beer here.
I actually like that Yuengling porter.
Yeah,
as far as
that's good.
Opportunity with it, but a great store for a lot of great beers. I'll pull up some more videos.
So this is only beer side or wine side.
This is the beer. The wine's a whole different section.
Guys, so here,
oh my goodness!
Some of their
look at this. This is
section. Weyerbacher, $5.99. for the 25th
$5.99.
4-pack.
Crispin for $2.99.
Yeah.
I know somebody that drinks
Golden
that.
Stout brewed with cascara coffee, cooked with this, and touch mosaic hops.
There's a golden stout.
Comes in at 11.1 ABV.
11.1.
Deal.
$5.99.
This is on the Russian Imperial.
Did you buy it?
$5.99 from 19. Oh yeah.
Limited edition. Comes with a glass.
I'm like, if you said
$19.99
no, I'd be
$5.99.
like, what's up with you, Rod?
2012 to 2013.
These are from over
You take a
Russian
look at
Imperial
the package
Stout.
in here. Can even be matured
13
up to
years.
13 years from what the brewers have said about this one. You can't beat those kind of deals. So, you know, we've got to take a look at that, pick it up.
Tremaine
You
says,
know,
quit teasing us.
$5.99.
This is
Why
not
not give it a
fair.
try?
Right?
Some
I'm
of the other
just
stuff
throwing
we
all
have
that
here,
mess in there.
Rainbow Pilsner, Crispin, Terrapin.
And Chad said, don't forget all the statues and stuff. Jungle Gym's like Disneyland with supervision. Yeah.
So, nice selection of different deals. Oscar Blues, Death by Coconut, $5.99 4-pack.
Yeah.
And then some of the deals that we get around this area.
That's just a little bit
Oh,
of
I'm
the deal.
going to
zone
Jungle
deal.
Gyms.
Yeah.
Look at people. That would be my look at his shopping cart.
Yeah.
He trying to count and see what else he can get in there.
Solid deal there, so can't beat that.
So everything
All right,
is
guys, time for a
discounted.
little bit of a break
So
here.
I got tired, so I went over to get some
get
some beer
Berry
while I'm shopping.
Supernova.
But while you're
Imperial
shopping, you can
Stout.
drink.
Yeah,
Nice
yeah.
chocolate
Just went over to
coffee
the
feel
tap
to the
area.
beer, one of our local brews. Delightful. Now to finish the shopping.
For just $67,
Oh,
you can make
yeah.
as many
Look at that.
videos as you want, and you never need to pick up a
What's
camera or use
$67?
any fancy editing software.
That's like a ad to put on there.
You look so.
Right here.
So then I went back to the shopping.
As you can see it lined up.
Oh my goodness.
This is just some of the international beers right here.
Oh, see, but I love that. I like the
Yeah.
Schmays, the Trapel, like the Rocheforts,
Back around.
the Delirium.
Down to the UK.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Over here, you got the German
This is crazy.
Keep in mind, these are just like on the shelves. There are cooler sections too if you want it cold right out of the gate. All back there is home brewing stuff.
This place is humongous.
Oh yeah.
The home brewer. So you come down around here, start getting into some of the things like over here,
See,
have Canada. have
I'll
some
be
of the
trying to get
Asian
through
beers as
TSA.
well.
And like, no. Wow.
Yeah.
I like
So,
that. I like that
Mexican
Limon
beer down there,
too.
jump over here,
Delphi and the
side
Limon.
action taking place.
The funny thing
I
is,
can
I'm
drink
at
that
Jungle
all day.
Gyms.
I can drink that all day long too.
You know, I know I've been at Jungle Gyms a lot just because I have people that ask me now, like, I don't even work there. And I'm like, oh yeah, go over here.
Colorado, some of the Colorado brews.
Oh, and they break it down in the States?
Yeah.
California. They have like a West
Oh
Coast
my goodness.
with the variety
Not to
of
mention,
Western
I don't know if I
Coast
showed it on here or not, but when I go around the corner, right when I
brews. Set
turn,
up all around.
if I turn the other way, yeah. So right there, across from where that guy is standing on the right side,
Uh-huh.
there's like a place where you can eat. There's like a little restaurant thing, so people eat there as well. And
Well, yeah, you have to eat. You got to get something to shuffle down all that, soak up all of that doggone liquor.
Texas.
yeah,
Here you
I
go.
would.
that's all.
be
That
there.
whole area right there is all bells.
Oh yeah, you can't really go wrong with
Mhm.
Belgian Bells or Ordels.
More of the islands.
Those are three that I was like,
Yeah.
you know, if you Sierra Nevada too.
Yeah,
You can't really go wrong with them.
More beers. With the Guinness sign there. Guinness
I drink Guinness. I
Let's see.
have that
That's-
Guinness with the
that right there is the tap area. That's where the taps are.
Oh my goodness.
And they're so nice because they put a cup holder in your cart.
Ooh,
So they can touch
This
the
is
brew
beautiful.
beer.
I know, right?
And then these are your individual
Then you got your
bottles
single
selected.
bottles if you want to get singles.
Line all the way down as well.
So you can make whatever.
up here.
Yeah.
Put a coffee
All I know is I would have to bring a whole suitcase and bubble wrap.
there. And
A whole suitcase. Cause see, I'll take like a suitcase or a bag or whatever
and this is one of the
just
spots I
to
like
bring
go
back.
to my brews. Not only just to go to the
And then across from where the tap area is where the wines actually start. in the wine area, it's
All
just
right,
as
well, I'm gonna go ahead
big,
and
if not
finish getting the
bigger.
rest of my stuff, and then.
But yeah, that's
Wow.
oops.
Okay,
Let
man,
me see
I
here.
had to write that down. Cincinnati. Like, okay.
Yeah, so I don't leave with like small packages out of that place. It's just like if I'm going there and I'm trying to find a couple beers that I want to do for beer review, something came out, I go to get it, and it's like, oh, now they got this, now they got this, now they got this. Now they like, wife's like, well, I thought you were looking for a couple things. Well, I was going for a couple things, but here's what happened.
Oh my. Okay, that place there, I would be in there so long because I would be the one to go and eat and re-up. Like I would eat and be like, oh, okay, and then come back and especially since so is all of their beers discounted like that or
No, well, not all their beers. Most of their beers are regular price, but they always have specials out there because they have so much beer they have to turn over. So you'll go in and sometimes and you'll get like these crazy deals on stuff, and it's just like,
yeah.
For real? And they're like, yeah, for real. And it's like, okay, let me load up. Like some of the beer glassware I got behind me on the shelf there, I got in there, and it was like, I go like Mad Tree or whatever, and it might be a glass for like $6, $7. It'll be there for like $1.99 or some other stuff. And I got so much glassware.
I mean, like I'm into glassware. Like even when we're drinking here at home, I'll have like a few glasses set up. If I'm drinking a Kolsch, I gotta have a Stang. If I'm drinking, usually if I'm drinking the high ABV stouts, I'll have a snifter. But
I don't think, Tremaine, you'd be the first one. People sit there.
I would get lost at probably Yep, I would be right with you, Tremaine.
There's some people that sit there drinking at the taps like all day.
Yep.
Like they're not even shopping. They're just there for the beer on tap. So.
I would be right. Like, where's Tremaine and Mickey? Oh, over here.
Skip said, geez. Like, yeah, it's the time. I mean, some people get confused there. They're like, they just get turned around. Like I said, I've been there.
No, Beer Miss US is not like that.
No. That's just one of our spots.
I don't even want you to get that in your mind. I mean, but it is like, so basically, whatever you want, Chicago, anything. Yeah, I agree with you, Skip. I have never seen that. Anything like that.
Yeah. And if you ever guys want to follow like on Twitter, I think it's Jungle Gyms is on Twitter, and it's JJ I think is the guy that does it on there as well. But
what is it? JJ?
I think JJ, let me look at my phone here, who's like their person that does the social media.
And but they don't ship though, right? Probably
they don't ship, but if there's ever you're coming into town and you want to get something, he would be able to probably get you set up. It's Jungle.
Sure.
It's at Jungle's Beer Guy on Twitter.
Because I would get some I would get some wine and stuff too. Like like if you're in that area, or at least if somebody told me what kind of wines to get, because I like Malbecs and Rioja beer. Like I like spicy, little heavy. Strong beers. I mean, but you know what? On like, if I just want to just drink and just drink the whole bottle, I'll do it like a Chardonnay or Chenin Blanc.
Mm-hmm.
I got that from one of my friends that drink wine. I mean, but at least I went to the tasters and I just liked it. It was lighter. It was something I was able that Chenin Blanc.
Right.
I was able to drink it straight down.
Yeah, they send me a newsletter each week that you can sign up for, and they'll tell you like some of the stuff and some of the deals and things like that they're doing as well. And like if you're like I drink some of I don't drink the Shandy, but I drink some of the other line of Kugel beers, for instance.
And
like their Session Hell is just $5.99 a 12-pack right now.
Really?
A 12-pack. So you may not like it that much, but as a 12-pack, you're like, maybe I can have a couple of hells.
Look, that's called one of them. I'll get to know you better.
I mean, they got like
I can get to know you better. I can get to appreciate you.
Yeah, we could be friends.
We can be friends.
But like Mad Tree, that Mad Tree, they have one of their beers called the Lift, which is a crisp blonde ale, $8.99 a 12-pack, regularly $17.99. Their Luna Lux is an IPA, white IPA, $4.99 a 6-pack, which is usually $9.99.
I wonder if they have bubble wrap in Ziploc bags as tall as a little weed pecan. Like, pull that up, put these beer in there. But I'm telling you, whenever I travel,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if I can bring it back, I'm going to bring it back. If I could, get something back, I'm going to take it back. But that's Sierra
Very
Nevada.
solid. Yeah.
You can't go wrong with Sierra Nevada.
Yeah. We were talking about that on
Belgium. You just cannot go wrong with them. I mean, to me, if you're not really a super beer drinker, you just getting into it, there's some breweries, some beer that you just really can't go wrong. Just taste this. And Odell's, and there's something else.
They're out of Colorado, I believe. Odell. Yeah.
But those are the ones you just like, here, just try this, because I have some of my friends just try it, just a little bit, here just to taste it. But you know what I've been finding is some of my friends that don't drink beer at all, I let them, taste a little bit, or I'll send them something just to try it. And they really like the juicy IPAs, maybe the well-made juice.
Because they're drinking orange juice or something, probably.
And it's like, they're like, oh, and I'm like, wait, I took the time. Hold up. I just now took the time to go get you a seltzer, and you said you like IPA. What? And then they also like a breakfast stout. Like I gave one of my friends a Smitty from Dallas.
Yeah.
That short order porter. They were like, oh man, this tastes like, this is pancakes. I'm like, wait a minute. You said that you drank seltzers and ciders. And the one that I just threw in there, because I like to throw something in there that just to play around with your palate. Let's just see what you think. That's the one they liked. They like the I had given the Hop Butcher, I forget, it's in the orange can, because the Hop Butcher always calls what is the name of that Hop Butcher?
Which one?
Orange can. They come out with another.
Is it a triple IPA? The Frontier, Digital Frontier.
Triple.
Yeah, a digital Frontier was the orange one, which is my favorite triple IPA they've done.
It just came out a couple of months ago.
Yeah, with the cowboy kind of on the can, like a Western,
like a burst of.
Oh no, you're thinking of the other one with the burst, like the burst light.
And I'm like, wait, you like Hop Butcher? Like you're a person and never drink beer, and you like all up on Hop Butcher?
I know what you're talking about there too.
Enjoyed it. Digital. What was it called?
Because I had a couple of those that they sent me too. Butcher. Looking at my Untapped here. Run the Daylight.
Run the Daylight.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Run the Daylight was good, but they're a Digital Frontier, in my opinion, was even that much better. That was my favorite triple IPA.
Okay.
Yeah. That they had.
Yeah.
Done.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. But Digital Frontier was really good, but it just cracks me up how people who don't drink beer, and like since we do Tipsy Taco Tuesdays, and Tipsy Taco Tuesdays we only started Tipsy Taco Tuesdays, or at least that's what I thought, is that I was under the assumption that we may be in COVID for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So in the meanwhile, let's just do something to stay connected. Didn't know it was going to be 2 years. And so I started Tipsy Taco Tuesdays. People could come there. You could drink beer. You could drink wine. You could drink whatever. And so we started game night too. And then, like I said, being the training developer I am. Oh, that went out. Being a training developer that I am, what I thought was, well, let's just draw for other people's talents. What do they like? What do you like doing? So then people start saying, well, I'm a mixologist, or I do this, and I cook, and then we start. They would just send us ingredients, and then they would do demos, and then it just one thing turned into the other.
Yeah.
You had people doing. We had a guy, the Pack Travel Club. the Pack Travel Club on Instagram. That's Andre. He did a full blown wine tasting with us. And what I like is that everybody that does something, they actually honor or they support a Black business. So he did his tasting, and all of us had to buy McBride's sister wine.
Oh, okay.
And so he did this tasting, and it was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that's how you taste beer. Wine. I was like, shit, I was just, this is good. He was like, well,
you just swirled around the mouth and everything. Yeah.
Like, okay, I was switching the mouth for a minute, but and then
spit it out. I'm spitting it out.
I ain't spitting. What? He knew not to say spit nothing out. I look at that as $2, you know. And then Undeniable Vixen, Angie, she did I would have never done drinks and all this stuff with sherbet and all this stuff. And it was just these experiences, and just like one experience after the other.
Yeah.
And so it was just really unique. And then it just turned into, so if you ever can hop in on it too, we do it every other Tuesday.
Yeah, let me know. Shoot me a message on that one as well.
I'll send you the link. We're having it Tuesday, and we play games, and we don't know. Sometimes you don't know what game you're playing. We did Drunken Black History last. I think half of us were so drunk they thought they really was Mary the Buffoon, you know. they thought they were Fred Hampton, you know. But it was just really unique. And I think that's the unique part about connection. Like, I'm a connection person. Yeah. Is that I believe you can learn something from anybody. I agree. From my 15-month niece, you know, more. And I've learned stuff from my 14-year-old niece and my 16-year-old niece. Things that you hear the 16-year-old nephew, you hear them talking, you're just like, huh? Right. You know, so I never discredit a learning experience. I think that, you know, I don't think that there's anyone you can't learn from. Well, I do have an uncle that you might not be able to learn from. What not to do.
Every family has that one uncle, right? So
and he's him.
Buddy CB enjoys it. Just came in right. No, that's not my basement though. I need to do a video on my basement because I can't ever get through the beers I got because I keep going to Jungle Gyms and I keep adding more stuff to the basement.
I can only imagine what your basement is. That your beer cellar?
Yeah, my beer cellar. So I've actually been able to whittle it down some, but I still got more than I actually need down there. I mean, well, I don't know. Any beer drinker really have more than they actually need. I got a lot. So
I could only imagine.
Everything right now that I've got kind of boxed is kind of, they're all bombers. So like I gotta have a bomber season at some point, but I'm gonna be lit when I do those videos. But I've got like a ton of bombers down there. And I got like the individual stuff I have like in the cooler and stuff. A couple years ago, New Air has sent me a cooler to do a review on. So I did that, and they gave me a beverage cooler to keep when I did the review on it, which is great because then it freed up the stuff in the regular fridge. But every time I go, I try to get it down. And it's like, oh, so-and-so came out with the beer. That's the problem when you have the craft beer world, right? Like these breweries come out with different beers that are just like you can only get it. You can only get it now. Yeah. So you have to always buy them when they come out, and then you end up buying more than you need to buy most of the time. Yeah. So you start trying to find friends. Hey, you want some of these beers? I got way too many right now. So
but if I was at Jungle Gyms, I probably would have so much stuff in my basement. It would just be ridiculous because I would always see something I want.
Oh, that's what happens every time you go there. It's like you walk past something. I didn't even know they came out with this. Why didn't anybody tell me? Like this, like there's some.
You mentioned reviewing, right? And I've always wanted to ask a beer reviewer, this. Have you ever reviewed a beer that you really didn't like, and the brewery came for you?
Not that they ever came for me, but they understood why I didn't like the beer. So one of the breweries I actually did review for, Arbor Brewing out of Michigan, I knew the owner of it. He provided beers for me to check out and stuff like that. And I did one of their beers, and I told him, I said, well, I did a review, but just to know, this is how I felt, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't something that I thought was all that great. Because I always tell people when they would ask me, can we send you some beers to review? I say, yeah, just low. I'm going to give my honest opinion on them. And they're always like, that's good to go. But it was one that he sent to me, and it just didn't have that appeal that I thought. And it had to be definitely more for the distinguished type palate. And it felt like it was off a little bit.
Okay.
And I told him about it, something like that. And he's like, that's cool. He's like, we appreciate that. He said, all we want is like honest feedback. And when you share stuff, one of the reasons we send you beers is because you're honest on stuff. And we know you're not going to like every beer. So when you don't like one, we're okay with that. We understand why. It's that's just cool. What they hate are the people that just say, you know, this is a shitty beer or this is that and that. They don't give a reason why. They just kind of slam them and don't back up the position. So for me, a lot of times if there's a beer that's not as strong that I actually feel, I'll try to provide information on why I didn't feel it was this way or what was the missing component to it, stuff like that. Yeah.
Respectful feedback.
Yeah, because I know talking to some of the brewers too, like they say, like some people they send beer, like, everything's always positive, and it's like, you know, it's like I do a lot of cooking with my wife, and she's like, "Oh, this tastes so good." It's like, does it? Because I don't know, because everything you say tastes good. You never say anything doesn't, so it's almost like they like to have that balance in there. If something's out of whack, to let them know.
So yeah, that's one thing. Like I didn't want to get into because I'm not a reviewer, right? So what I've always practiced is that if I didn't particularly care for beer, I just didn't post it. Like and see, I don't think I get sent beers to review. I get sent beers a lot of times. I get sent beers for charities, you know, people giving it to another Black organization, something which is really cool. I really like that. I happen to be in that circle.
Yeah.
But I post beers, period. That because I post beers. So my one cousin that doesn't drink beer, she's like, "Do you like all the beers that you post or whatever?" And I said, "A lot of them I hadn't even tried yet. I post them a lot of times because it's a gift from somebody, and then I will, post if I really like something. But I feel like if I'm in the business of building up, my posts are not going to be tearing down, whether you are white, Black, whatever."
Right.
But what I will do is if a brewery asks me, because some people will text message you, I'll tell them the truth, like what I think, or maybe, there's, no carbonation, or there's this, that, and the other. That's respectful for a person like me. So you're actually a reviewer. They know that you're going to review it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's fair if, I don't think that that's not my space. So but if you ask me, I'll tell you. So I was just wondering, because I saw this one reviewer a long time ago, and it seems like everybody is getting into their groove. But I saw this one person, it's like, this is trash, and I'm just like, I'm not a reviewer, but is that what you do?
Yeah, no, that's
because
not,
when people take time to make beer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I understand nothing's going to be all rosy. It's not going to be rosy, but there's a way to deliver it.
Yeah.
And calling somebody's time and passion and trash.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. I like the way you do that. That's
cool. It's like things like, right now, like, Untapped is popular. People like Untapped. They put stuff out there.
Yeah.
People have Beer Advocate and Rate Beer, although Untapped bought Beer Advocate. It's kind of under them now. And it's like, you'll see stuff like people comment. Those are kind of like, to me, more the casual type people, because they'll put like stuff like that. This is trash, whatever. They don't give you anything around it. And like when I do the reviews, like one of the things I run into talking about stouts, I like stouts to be a little bit more thicker. I like that body to it, kind of thinking of like say 1050 or whatever, having a nice that oily type, that thickness to it, right? And, and it's kind of like I'll get some that'll be like 10 or 11, it'll be thin, and I'll tell them like this one does have a thinness to it. It would have been better if it would have been a little bit more thicker. I get maybe a little bit of a watery feel, or not quite as watery, but it's definitely thinner than what I would prefer. So I'll put that. So I'll put stuff like that into the reviews and stuff. And I've had, brewers as well as people that watch appreciate the honesty of like, I'm not trying to do that. I've had people talk about other people that do some of the reviews and like everything they like is positive. So I feel like I can't always trust them. They always like nobody likes every beer they actually have
all the time.
Right.
Like,
right.
Yeah. Even though brewers are my favorite brewers or whatever, I was like, this is what I feel is missing, and I go off of the description.
Yeah.
So I sometimes think that because I'm not a major reviewer, but I'll be like, okay, well, if you say that guava or whatever, if I smell it on my nose, but not necessarily feel it in the aroma, I almost feel like they did their job. Like, I don't know if you're saying that it's supposed to be on my palate and my nose, or am I supposed to know that guava is in here by smelling it? So I just give them that break.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of times they just be going for the aroma.
Sometimes depend. But if they put something on the can, like I've had that come up, it's like, we've got cinnamon, coconut, and blah blah blah, whatever in it.
Yeah.
And if I don't get one of those things in it, I'll point that out in the video. Like it's supposed to be on it. Like if you're going to advertise this on it, you better make sure it comes through because that's what people are expecting when they buy your beer. So I'll respond with that and everything. But the breweries I've always talked to have always been really cool. I had one friend, he's actually up in Canada. He had done a review one time, and one of the brewers up there kind of come after him for something and pretty much said, "You're fired," or something. Like he didn't work for him; he was just on his own little thing. Like, I was like, "You ain't Craig from Friday, where you actually work for the person. Like, how is he going to fire you?" Like,
I'll be like, "Okay, look, before you fire, since you fired me, give me my last check."
Yeah.
How about that?
But I've seen some reviewers that get stuff said back, and I think it's like you said, it's the delivery, it's what you're positioning with it. If you can give criticism and it's constructive, I think breweries appreciate that. It's kind of like when I go on site to some of the breweries, as one that reviews beers, it's always like you feel like, oh, the brewer's like, hey, try this one, try this one, try this one. And, I'm honest when I come back and I go through and I tell them what I actually have. I actually get surprised sometimes, like I'm hitting on all the stuff they want to have out of it. It's like, well, it does this, and blah, blah. And they're like, that's what we were going for type thing. And,
nice.
It's something that as you do it a long enough time, I guess, like I said, I did this channel about 6 years, but I've been tasting beers for a lot longer and kind of doing stuff where I was kind of messing around with it and before I actually went live with it. So I feel like I got enough experience now in trying the different styles, the different beers, communications I have with the different breweries, kind of getting some great stuff, conversation wise, kind of getting a great feel. That's why I like doing it the way that I'm doing it. Like I've had friends ask me like, do you ever want to go try to work for one of the breweries or whatever? And I say on one hand, it'd be kind of cool to work for one of the breweries, but on the other hand, I'd have to give up my independence because my one friend, he actually had a site like I do, but he went to work for MadTree. So he had to basically cut off that one because now he's a MadTree employee. He can't do all the other reviews.
Oh, so he can't do his reviews
yeah, because now he's dedicated to MadTree. So it's kind of like you give up that independence if you sign on with someone, but when you're not signed on to someone, it gives you so much more freedom. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just like, like with this white stout, the coconut, they did a really good job. The coconut is on the nose and on the mouthfeel. Like I can taste it. Coconut and pineapple. This is a really, really good white stout. But then again, Aluminum Brew Works, they make good stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, I like the way they do things. Like you can not necessarily rent out, but they have these things where you could bring your meat or whatever, and you can have your chairs or whatever, and they might have they ain't gonna make no Chicago dogs, but they'll have stuff out there, and then they just have this bonfire, and it's like right in the West Loop, and it's really cool. But their beer is good, but they don't have a tap room. So I just feel like sometimes breweries like this, I'm sure they have their following. I'm sure they sell their beer at different places. But they always have good stuff. And they're not in. You can get it in Benny's, but you might get Illuminate Brew Works, but you might not get this.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just such a really difficult the craft beer industry is a little bit more difficult to navigate. And
Yeah. Well, it's like what you were saying. That's what I tell people. Like, and so I got to remind myself even. Like, you go to the stores and you get all these different type of beers, and you can get good beers there, but what you don't know, and you're missing a lot of good stuff at the breweries. For instance, you had the Mad Tree, which that's a good Mad Tree beer, but there's like 20 things they'll have on tap they don't can that you'll be like, this is freaking delicious too,
Exactly.
So that's why you're leaving with growlers or crowlers or whatever you are out of the places. So it's kind of like, unless you go to some of these places, you don't see some of the good stuff they keep there. Like I got reached out to by Sam Adams here in Cincinnati, because we have a brewery here.
Nice.
Actually, Jim Cook's from Cincinnati, but he put a brewery here a few years back.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had ordered one of the Black is Beautiful beers, and I went to go pick it up or whatever, and I was talking to the guy and just gave him one of my cards and say, "You guys got stuff happening, let me know so I can put it out on social media." And he's like, "Oh, wait a second, let me go get you this real quick." He came back with another crowler of one of their other beers, which was like, I wasn't expecting anything to happen, but he came out with another beer. "Hey, check this one out. Let us know what you think of it too, and I'll give you a card to so-and-so, and she'll reach out to you." Well, she reached out to me a couple months ago. They did a barrel-aged double bock. Oh, my God.
Oh.
And they teamed up with one of our local used to do it with Maker's chocolate balls to pair it with. I did a review on that, and that video, I was feeling real good.
You were like, "Oh yeah," and a little bit more. Yeah. You were probably like Fred Sanford and his friends.
But I think it's I was so mad when I ate that last chocolate ball. I was like, "Oh, they're all gone, man." So, but it's you're getting out there. When you go to the breweries, you find all these different things. You're meeting people. Like you said, it comes back to relationships. You're making contacts, and at the same point, we're helping them. This way they're helping us. They're providing some stuff to us to do some things, and then we provide an outlet for them as well. And at the same point, I kind of feel like people like when they see somebody talking about something that's not related to the company as well. Like, you don't have to toe the company line. If something's good as bad. Like, I can sit here and I can say whatever I want about Founders, because I don't work for Founders, right? And it's like I can expose whatever I want to do there, or talk about what happened at Boulevard, or talk about what happened with Brewdog, and I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So it's kind of like I got no reason to not
none of these
take out what's true. Right. And it's like, if they said we don't want to send you any beers, that's fine. I deal with all these other breweries and do stuff. Or most of the time I buy beer. Most of the time I buy it myself anyway, so it's not like you're hurting me there. So, but it's just,
I think that makes sense, because it's like, if you don't work for them, you can't get sued. You don't have to do no disclosures. You can't walk into work with everybody looking and whispering.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, Rod's about to get fired. Did you know he's about to get fired?"
But I gotta admit, I mean, it's been great fun talking about and working with some of the people in the beer community and providing some of their stories and having some of the fun things, and some of the connections that I've met over the years have been freaking awesome and stuff. Like I said, it's all worked out well. And I've got places that I had a brewery out in Germany that I talked to that, like, hey, if you ever get over here, you got an open door to come in and hang out with us. And so it's like, all these cool things, which that's the thing of social media and all that stuff, that you connected with all these different places.
So it like, this is the thing, like, especially during COVID, but prior to COVID, we were planning, well, it was for me, but to do a beer cation, and because I just wanted to see a Trappist Abbey Ale brewery, and so I wanted to go to Belgium. And then my one friend was like, he was like, "Well, you can take just a boat over, a boat ride over to Amsterdam, and then we could show you this, that, and the other." So I was just mentioning that in the conversation I was in with some Black influencers. We were just hanging out and talking, and they were like, "Oh, this guy, Chris lives over in the Netherlands. So talk to him." He was like, "Oh, just let me know, when you're coming over." So it's like you had this full blown tour.
Yeah.
Of not only a person that, that's there, but a person that knows people that
Yeah.
So they, and usually when you have your friends, give a reference, the other person's gonna really try and make sure you're good. And then he looks like he gonna make, but it was just interesting. Like I could go there, I could go now. You and I'm sure all the people you interview, you can go anywhere and just be like, hey, just put it on the internet. Hey, I'm gonna be in San Diego. I'm gonna be in New York, and it'll be somebody there now.
Yeah.
That'll be like, hey, I said something. I wanted to go to Washington, D.C. to see the Civil Rights Museum.
Yeah.
The African American, not Civil Rights, African American Museum. And, oh yeah, come, and after you do that, we could do there. I think what is that? Is that the Black Beer Experience? It's somebody there.
Yeah.
Man, we got like these crazy connections now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can go up in there and be like, give me a craft beer. We're not 48 hours no more. You know what I mean? It's
kind of funny when you find that stuff out. Like I've never. To me, it's quite humbling when you find out stuff and like people know who you are. You find things out. It's just like for the last few years, like Fresh Fest. I was supposed to go to Fresh Fest.
Oh, that was fun.
We didn't go last year because last year was canceled, right? So 2 years before that, I was supposed to go, and what happened? Something happened. I didn't get to go. The first year they were having, I didn't get to go.
I didn't even know about it the first year.
The next year I was supposed to go. I broke my wrist like a week before I was supposed to go. Oh, so I wasn't able to go because I was on meds and stuff. And it was funny because I was talking to Greg from Daddy Porter. And he was like, yeah, I was waiting to meet you when you came down here because I always followed you. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, but then I thought you didn't show or whatever. He's like, no, I was going. I mean, everything was paid for and stuff. It's just I had to back out because of break. But it's funny because it's like the awareness wasn't there. Like, and he's like, yeah, I wanted to meet you. And he met ABC down there. But it's like, it's funny because that was really before I knew him, but he knew me already. And it was like so many people that you come across that kind of do stuff. Like I got identified one time in a Subway. I was ordering a sandwich at a Subway and somebody asked what beer I was reviewing next. Here in my local town where I'm at. And I'm like, I had nothing saying beer on or anything like that, but he was just asking what beer out. And it's like, he's like, you got the YouTube channel, right? He's like, I watch you all the time. Like you talk about the different. I was like, that just freaked me out, like because you just don't know when people are noticing this stuff. Yeah.
You're just like, oh, you black and you drink beer. Oh, I know you. Yeah, I mean, it is really interesting. This guy was here for. They were from Philadelphia. They were here for the one guy's cousin played for whoever was playing against the Sox in a game. And so I don't know if you know a lot about Chicago a lot, but Southside Sox.
Right. I better yeah.
Yeah. I'm with the Sox just because the Sox look like my people, right? And I'm on the brink, like I'm right on the west side part of the brink. So this guy comes in, these two guys, they were like, oh yeah. The Beer Vest guy, Paul and I were in Alulu. And so we're sitting there, and Paul's friend is a chef, and he does stuff, and he was just ordering all this stuff, and he was having us try it with the beer and all this stuff.
Yeah. And
so these two guys came. I walked out of the bathroom. These two guys were just sitting there, and the guy looked at me. I was like, "Oh Lord, what's going on? All this stuff." And so I went and sat back down. So then we got back up, and the guy says, "Hey, we were going to go meet L. Sharpton over at another place. He was in town, and he's one of my friends." And so the guy says, Paul's friend wanted to take a picture. We went to stand up, take a picture. And after I went to go sit down and take a picture, these two guys were like, "Hey, do you mind if we take a picture with you?" What's up for what? Yes. Yeah, And so the guy was like, he said, "Okay, cool. We're here in town." And he told me about his friend, his cousin being a celebrity star baseball player. I said, "Oh, that's good. That's nice." Yeah. I'm thinking I'm about to get some free tickets, right?
Yeah.
The guy was like, oh, his friend said, "Oh, look, he's trying to act so cool, like he's around you." He said, when you walked in the door, he was like, "Oh, that's Black and Brew Chicago. I know her from Instagram." And then he said that every time I come on, he said his friend was telling him, go just ask her to take a picture. And he was like, no, she's eating. But no, she's with her friends. I'm like, wait, hold up. I am not Whitney Houston. I was like, whatever. He was like, standing there like, oh, but his friend was being foul. Yeah. He could have just kept that to himself. It was
trying to rat him out.
And he was like, he's like, look. And so he did. He came up to me. He was all in my face with his cell phone. Look, I follow you. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. And he was like, oh, cool. And so we just start taking shots and stuff,
Yeah.
But it is interesting.
It is. It's very. But again, like I said, it's humble. Like somebody, like just I don't know. It catches you off guard at first, I think. But this time, like,
I think it's because we're Black too. Like.
Well, we probably stand out more.
Stand out
because you don't see as many Black people doing the craft beer.
It's easier to remember us.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I've been in the breweries when I've ordered stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got the YouTube channel." Like the people working at the brewery are like, "You watch the YouTube? Oh yeah, we watch your YouTube channel. We YouTube so and so, and you've done our beers. We appreciate that as well." Like it's cool,
And
I
think your YouTube, your stuff is good too, though. I mean, like,
I appreciate
but
that.
I guess it's like you have to. But I guarantee you this too: when people come in there, they be like, "Oh, breweries now want to know that they know you." They be like, "Oh, Rod, we're diverse, man." Hey, I'm telling you, we're diverse.
Yeah.
We know Rod. We know Rod from the YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you do the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yeah. The owner, they just told you that, But it's like your content is good. I never knew much about video and like podcasts and stuff until I've been on podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But they're interesting because you learn so much. Like even if you're a guest, you learn a lot. And that's why I like the podcast that you can sort of have a conversation. Mm-hmm. And some people would have been looking at me like, "What? You're not supposed to be asking the questions."
Yeah, I mean, well, for me, it's always worked out because my background was actually journalism and broadcasting, and I was a radio DJ in college for a few years and did some stuff. So for me, it's just kind of in the comfort zone already. A lot of people get nervous. Like they don't have to hear people, I hate my voice when it's on. So it's like, guess what? Everybody hates their voice. Trust me. That's one of the things that come up. Yeah. The radio station, whenever we did radio shows, everybody hated their own voice. It's one of those things.
The way they look.
Well, yeah, we don't ever sound like we think we sound because the way it comes out to us is different because it's kind of like internalized in our body. How we hear it is not what everybody else hears it. So yeah.
Yeah. I would have never, I would have never even thought of podcasts or being on things like that. I didn't know anything about it. So it's really cool to be a guest on it. But when I see myself on it, I'm like, and then especially our work is usually circled around drinking. So I'm like, okay, is this before or after I get like
most things that people worry about them, nobody even notices. It's just us because we're like our toughest critic, right? So it's like
like, can you tell when I went into the 13% ABV zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's so funny about it is it's like it is. And like it's so funny. One of my best friends from college is like, she said, only you would be able to literally turn your passion into a profit, into a business.
That's how it should be, though, right?
Old English days, like drinking Old English, drinking Little Kings, and we get $7 after class on and $7 and some wings. We get a Little King with some wings from BW3s. And but when I graduated from Old English to Little Kings, you couldn't tell me nothing.
Yeah, Little Kings, that's out of Cincinnati now under Moorline, so they brought them back.
Oh really?
Yeah, they brought them back a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Just for the nostalgia,
they brought them back little 8-packs and stuff, so like the little bottle and everything. So yeah.
The 7 ounce.
Yeah. Those were like $4.99 at Jungle Gyms the last time I bought them there. Yeah, I brought them because of the nostalgia. I bought an 8-pack. Yeah,
they used to be when we were at Ohio State. They used to be $7 for 24 of them.
yeah.
$7, and we used to tear them up. Just like, but then in like Old English used to be 89 cents.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness! I'm telling you, before I got into craft beer, shoot, I was drinking what I was doing actually at that time because I was in Texas. It was so hot. I was doing way more wine because I was around way more wine drinkers.
Right.
But I was drinking Jack Daniels and Mickey's malt liquor.
Oh, okay. The grenade.
And that's when this guy, I was living at my apartment complex, and my neighbor, I was walking up there, and we used to sit out in the porch area. And he asked me, he said, "Why are you drinking that shit beer?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit beer. Like, this is Mickey's malt liquor. And he said, but one thing I do like is so if you say something and you followed up with some education or tell me why you're saying it, I'm good.
Yeah.
And he said, "Try this." And it was called Santos. It was a black Kolsch. Now, whether or not these folks knew it was from St. Arnold's. And so now all these people from 2010 craft beer rush tell you don't know what you're talking about, even though you've been drinking it 8 years before them. And I'm like, listen, I ain't know nothing about no Kolsch. I didn't know no Kolsch was supposed to be this color, that color, the other color. But that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then he said, "And try this." And that's when he gave me that first beer that I really liked. That was the Carbach Hopadillo. And my friend sent me that from Texas. But it tastes like piney elder. It was when IPAs were piney. They were more piney. They didn't have
the West Coast style. Yeah.
It was just totally different. Yeah. Totally different. And so I get some of those sent to me.
Yeah.
A lot.
That's why I like this. Well, that's why I still like the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale once in a while. Just that classic style of beer. And
it's delicious. Yeah, Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is very good. But Sierra Nevada has a really good I'm not a super big IPA person, but sometimes I get in the mood for a cold IPA, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I like their little hazy things.
Yeah.
Their IPA. And I'm in love with New Belgium. Like New Belgium they have this the New Belgian Tripel.
Mm-hmm. I've had that. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That is, it is just so good. And another thing I could drink is Odell's has a hazy IPA too. Mm-hmm. That I really like. So I always try and then what is it called? Wesson Heimer. It's a Bavarian lager.
Yeah, it's probably the Weissenheimer Bavarian Pilsner.
It is so good. I keep that in that. That's a really good lager. So I try and keep a combo just of different things. Now, if I was at Jungle Gyms, I'd probably be up in there with everything. But yes, I try and keep things that saturated. But Jungle Gyms got me sitting there trying to think of how we can fit this in.
I literally have to force myself not to go to Jungle Gyms at times. It's just, if I'm in that part of town, it's like an automatic stop. So it's like I'm not even gonna go to that part of town this week because I know if I get over there, I'm gonna have to run in. Yeah, it's over. It's over.
Do they have good food in there too?
They have the place that I was next to the beer was a place where you get gyros and all kind of stuff, but they have a sushi place in there as well, and some other type of sit down quick type place because you are still kind of in a store where things they can make food rather fast
but you can easily pair it with something.
Oh yeah, easily, without a doubt.
But you know what? I don't drink a lot of beer with food. I will if I'm at an event where it's a pairing.
Yeah.
but usually I just eat. I mean, I might drink a water, but I'm just this ginger ale person when it comes to food because of the carbonation and just helps it just, when I'm really going there, like when I'm really grubbing, but I'll drink a beer after. I might drink a beer before, but I'm not one of those people that say, oh, you know what, I have to have a beer with my food.
Usually, despite how much beer I have at the house, I don't usually drink beer with food here. But if we're out for dinner, then I'll pair it with stuff. Like
exactly.
I'll get something like if I get like a chocolate cake dessert, depending where I'm at, it'll be something of kind of a porter or stout to kind of mash that up. Yeah. If I'm getting spicy food, it'll be something like one of our Chinese restaurants we have. They have 150 plus beers, so it's like it's craft Chinese place. And I'll get like an IPA or something to match up. If it's spicy, if it's not spicy, I'll figure what the balance is. It's kind of like I'll think about the food and I'll think, well, this beer should go with it, so let's go and order this one.
Well, it could complement.
Yeah. Or sometimes there'll be a beer on their beer menu, and I'll be like, I really wanted to try this one, so I'll get this. But for the food, I'm going to match it up with this. You know? So when I go out, I'll match up beers to food and stuff and the different courses.
That makes sense. I mean, that makes sense because it's like that's the experience. You know what I mean? That's like, but just at an average day when I'm
sitting, the average day,
and I found myself. I found that like I'm like, oh wait a minute, I don't really drink beer with food. And it was just a revelation. Like, I might drink beer before, which makes me hungry enough to want it, or I drink beer after.
Yeah.
It's really strange. And a lot of times too that I've been realizing like how people do, like I'll do at least 3 to 4 dry days in a week because I mean we could go hard on the Tipsy Taco Tuesday. Like you could be taking shots and stumbling from the dining room to the living room what I've unconsciously found during COVID, it definitely is the whole opposite non-COVID. My dry days tend to be Saturdays and Sundays because I'm cleaning, I'm doing projects. I might do my walk. I might do, and I'm not thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about it, but I have realized that when I'm in the mood, like in the groove of cleaning, what I have to do on Saturdays are usually a time I don't go to the craft beer refrigerator. It's just weird. It is so strange, but Monday through Friday, you can hang it up. I'm fine.
Yeah. See, I usually don't drink that. I think it was Rod that actually asked earlier, but I don't usually drink as much during the week. Like on the weekends, I'll drink some. I got a couple tonight and some yesterday. It's whatever the mood is. But during the week when I'm working, I got this channel and I do a gaming channel and I got a food channel and then I'm also doing some other stuff. So I'm always like doing other things. It'll get to the weekend. Like I do the regular Thursday night show that we have here at 8:45 with my buddy Todd. But usually Thursday through Sundays are days I'm usually drinking if I'm drinking that week. So,
you have a food channel?
Yeah, it's Rod J Food Ventures. I need to do some more with it. But yeah, I started doing like some different stuff. I did some different cheese videos and I've done some grilling on there. I need to do some more stuff to update it actually.
Okay. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a foodie. I like food.
But to Skip's point, no brewery. As I said, we were talking earlier. I like being the independent route as well.
Oh, no doubt. It seems like you got a lot of good stuff going on.
Funny thing about that, though, is I done one of the beer fests. I used to volunteer at some of our beer fests when we have them. And I was working at Sam Adams' booth one time. And people were coming up and asking questions because one of the things I share the knowledge when I have it there. So people come up and ask about beers. I'm telling them about different beers and different styles. And the guy that we were working with was from Sam Adams there. He was here and his wife was there in the chair next to him and stuff like that as we were talking to people. And she came over, she's like, do you like work in beer or whatever? And I'm like, no, I just know beer and blah, blah, blah. Okay. She turns to her husband, you need to hire this guy. Because I'd have more people coming to me than
like you need help
at the breweries, like asking about questions, and I'll be telling the differences on stuff. And like you, I'm all about the education. So it's kind of like what I try to do is immerse myself into the reading, watching the other stuff, some of the documentary type things. And I think that's what brings a little bit more to the channel than just someone that gets up here, cracks a beer and tries to talk about the beer. Like I try to get more detailed and involved in this. Like right now I'm still finishing the beer Bible, but I've read like Tasting Beer from Randy Mosher and all that stuff and all the different other books that I've went through. And it's just like, Ducci's book we mentioned, read that one and different. It's just, there's always room for education and growth. So the only thing I really haven't done is started going for the Cicerone yet, which I may do at some point, but I just like to personally have that improvement and take those steps.
And I even tell, guys, even though the book is titled Chick's Guide to Beer, Price's book is excellent for, I mean, she goes over everything in layman's terms. Like it is so digestible. Like you could just, the pieces, everything, you could sort of go step by step. It's just a wonderful book to have.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And Chad was asking about cooking with beer. Used to beer with Steve Muscle. Beer with Steve Muscle is good. I have a beer chili that I use. And I try different beers. The funny thing is the beer that actually worked the best that I've used thus far has been the Genesee Honey Brown Ale.
Genesee honey, okay.
Yeah, and the sweetness from the honey put inside the chili, and I got a video on that on the channel too.
Okay.
It really works well to bring out all the other flavors and stuff. Now, I'm going to experiment at some point with some stouts in there because I think the stouts can also do some different things. But that honey brown was actually a nice fit. And I tried it with different lagers, and that was the best lager that I did. I mean, I get worried about pouring like a $6, $7, $8 craft beer in the food. I'm like, I want to drink it. I don't want to put it in. So I'm kind of working my way out. I know the other ones will probably work well, but I'm like, that's for drinking, that ain't for cooking. But the honey brown, but I've done that. I've done some other things I kind of experimented with, kind of like, trying to do like a, putting beer into something you're frying and maybe to add into like the sauce or like that. But really the chili is kind of the main thing I've done it with. But I don't know if you're cooking with beer or anything that you might be doing there, or if you tried anything.
I'm not a chef, but I have put, it's a Baltic porter. And it was just because it was there. And I used this hot sauce that you get with Sticker Mule, and I added that. I added some of the Baltic porter and some of the habanero sauce.
Oh.
To what is it? Sweet Baby Ray's.
Ah, Sweet Baby Ray's. Okay.
I boil a little bit. I mean, I cannot honestly say I tasted the beer. But the whole it made a different texture, nice thickness. It was good smoke, good heat, not smoke, good heat to it. So I don't know. All I can say is I did it because it was there. I didn't do it because I was trying something special. I had seen it on TV, threw it in there, and I think I don't know if it's because it didn't turn out bad that I think it was good, or you know what I mean. So but it turned out really good.
Nice.
But Sweet Baby Ray's is good anyways.
Yeah, it's a good barbecue sauce. Yeah.
But it was a different taste. But I honestly cannot say it was because of the Baltic Porter. But what I can say is that it made it taste really good, and I could tell that it changed the flavor of the beer. I mean, of the sauce. But
so there was some type of enhancement then, probably.
It was an enhancement, but I can't really explain it because I was just doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But one thing I can say is that the heat, I got this habanero sauce from Sticker Mule of all places. And it added that heat, but you could still taste that sweetness. But it seems like if anything, the Baltic Porter, I don't know if it complemented or if it cut it. It was something about it that you knew the presence was there, but it was nothing. Maybe I'm not enough of a chef or enough of a.
Well, you just haven't experimented with it enough, probably. So it's still raw to you, right? Yeah. If you
it was something different in the sauce. Yeah. But it was good.
And Chad, actually through social media, through Instagram, I believe, is when we first got in contact with each other.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people ask, how do I meet people in how do I meet the breweries? And when I meet them at events when we used to have craft beer.
Yeah, when we had events before COVID.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's a funny way, Skip. Give all beer a 10 out of 10 because regardless of how it tastes, it makes me feel 10 out of 10.
Go ahead on, Skip.
Let me see.
That's what's up. Now, say it again.
Chad says, beer cocktails, is that a waste of beer? I would say as far as beer cocktails go, I wouldn't consider it a waste. It's just a different way to experience it. I mean, some people aren't fully to that beer spectrum. So if you kind of like mixed drinks, it's just a different way to have a mixed drink, and beer is just another ingredient into it. So most of the time, the ones I've seen, you're not really dealing with a lot of the craft beer anyway, per se. It's going to be something of kind of like your macro type lagers are putting them into or something along those lines. I mean, you might have like a Guinness and something. I just think it's a matter of how you like it, but it's not giving you the full just beer experience. But if you like it that way, you know, drink it and enjoy it. I always say drink what you like. Don't let anybody else tell you any different. I don't know what your thoughts are, Mickey.
The only beer cocktail that I've really had was a Michelada. It's sort of like the Bloody Mary of beers. So I liked it.
Yeah.
So if you but like you said, it's not that it's about the beer though. It's just part of the ingredients.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're drinking. Yeah. Yeah. But there's no craft beer cocktails that I know of that really the beer is really the main ingredient. I don't know. They call them beer cocktails, but it seems like it ends up the craft beer itself, or the beer itself, sort of makes the picture look pretty.
Yeah.
You know, and but I've never heard anybody. To me, it sounds like it would be for people who really don't like the taste of beer.
Yeah, exactly. It's more something different where you're not, the ones I've had, you're not getting a full beer out of it. Like I've had a couple. I think one of the places was at a hotel, and it was like Blue Moon was used in it. It was like, just try something just to see what it tastes like. It's something different. Yeah, I've had other ones with different ones. It's more of a mixed drink that you're having. So if you don't like the taste of beer, then it's kind of what they're going with there. So right.
But I mean, it's definitely something good to try. Like if you want to try it, I'd say try everything.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Oh, let's see here. I don't know about that, Tremaine. It's a local celebrity.
I bet you are.
Tremaine said his voice sounds like a chipmunk.
With all your notoriety, like with all your knowledge.
I don't know. I just try to share what I can. What's up, Shitbird? Hello.
Oh, I love that name, Shitbird Gaming.
Shitbird Gaming, yeah. So Sierra Nevada's our favorite. Sierra Nevada does so many good things. In fact, I've got to actually do, because I've got I talk about the cellar. I've got like 4 or 5 different Bigfoot variants. I need to do those reviews at some point. I love their barley wine that they do with the Bigfoot series.
What is it?
Bigfoot, Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. It's the barley wines.
I like barley wines for after dinner, like when I'm just chilling, just a little bit. I get too drunk off them after a while.
I think everybody does after a point. Like, there's a reason you don't see many barley wine festivals.
I'm good.
Yeah, they pretty have cool label and artwork as well. Oh, thank you, Shipbird. Shipbird actually dropped a $5 bomb. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And
cheers.
People never have to feel obligated, but always appreciate it if you do. And that goes right to the beer fund. So Shipbird, thank you, sir. And that is for you, my friend.
I'm like, what is that? Okay.
Yeah. You do a gaming channel, Rod? Yeah, I have the gaming channel as well. Which a lot of times is like a lot of live streams that we're usually playing like Call of Duty and stuff, but I do have some other games I need to share on that channel. But if you wanted to check that one out, Rod, that is actually Rod J Live Stream Gaming.
That's really cool that you have this gaming and the beer.
It's, I think there's always opportunities on how you can always try to do something. Social media has been probably in this last, how do you want to say, quarter century or whatever, probably the best way for anybody that wanted to try to do something entrepreneurial. Yeah. So anything that you wanted to kind of do, if you have something you want to talk about or share, and if you can build up enough around it, you have the opportunity to do stuff with it. I mean, it's just one of those things. Why not take advantage of the things that are out there? I mean, if you're going to sit there and you like playing games, why not broadcast you playing the games? And if you grow from it and you get fans out of it and people are, you end up developing something out of it, it becomes your hobby. And now your hobby is also paying attributes. Why not? Why not do it? Right. And it's kind of like having the knowledge of the beer. Instead of me trying to go out and have to interview with beer companies, just create a beer channel and share your knowledge and let it grow that way. And then you build it enough that other beer companies start coming to you saying, hey, we want you to look at this, or we want you to do this, or we want you to do that. It's funny. Like I have some friends that like, they do the beer channels and they would say, well, there's never no money really in doing something. And I said, well, if you're at it for the money, for one, you're not going to do anything because you're letting the money drive you for what you're doing. Right. But I said, I had a company give me a free cooler, a free beverage cooler, which would have been like $200-something. I've had companies send me beer, which saves me from it. But I said, you're thinking of money direct. There's other ways you're actually getting stuff set up if you're doing it the right way and you are growing. Yeah, there's different ways. So it's not like maybe cash in hand, but that product in hand also saves you the cash for spending as well. And but you got to have that love for it. So like I also got a hip hop channel too, but I got to get updated with some more stuff. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, so I have the Hip Hop Chronicles that I do. And
Chronicles?
Yeah, and what I do on that one is Rod J Hip Hop Chronicles. And that kind of goes back to my time when I was a radio DJ back in the 90s, kind of just sharing different things. And then my time growing up in hip hop and what things mean, right? So like I try to do videos on different stories around hip hop. Like I did a thing about Cool Herc. I did a thing like about Kraftwerk, for instance, which has been like the biggest one so far on the channel. Like, because people don't realize like Kraftwerk and how they actually, their music was sampled so much in the beginning of hip hop. It's what the breakbeats were. Africa band, Kraftwerk.
Oh yeah,
Kraftwerk. Yeah, like how Africa Bambaataa was using them and Cool Herc. Like things like Trans Europe Express. You're talking about Numbers. You're talking about all these other songs that were popular because of the stuff they were doing. They didn't start. They weren't doing what they were doing over in Europe to be a hip hop artist. But it's funny how it just kicked over. And so the chronicles are kind of like stories around hip hop that I'm trying to share. So did that, like something about Stetsasonic being the first hip hop band and what they did and how they actually were saying, people were saying they weren't really making music and they formed a band and so they were making music. And so I try to share those kind of stories. I just need to find time to get all these different projects going. But, everything I'm kind of doing is kind of under that Rod J brand of stuff that I'm just kind of messing around. Like I said, it's entrepreneurial. It's just get out there and tell your stories, share your things, and do what you want to do. And then if something picks up, it picks up. But as long as you're having fun doing it, it's not even like you're doing a job. So
that's some good stuff, though. I mean, like hip hop, food and beer. Shit, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. I'm telling you that. You can't go wrong.
I just trying to go out there and have different things, have different fun, tell those different stories, and it's nice as an outlet. We all need an outlet on stuff, and whether it's doing painting, whether it's doing poetry, writing, art, whatever, narration, telling stories, just whatever you have for your outlet, and just it's a nice thing to do. It's fun. It's like, I put this stuff out there. If people watch, great. If not, I'm just still telling my thing out there. So it's funny because,
but it's like you have all your passions, all your passions. You're doing it with all of your passions. So that's the good part. Is that you're doing what you love, and it's. I mean, and like I said, how can you go wrong? with
No,
food and beer.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be more besides just work, right? You need other stuff to actually do. And during this course of COVID period that we went through, all those other channels really started out under that period because it's like, why not go ahead and express other things that you're not doing? Yeah, you have other things you could do, and that keeps your creative juices going as well.
Right.
So, and occasionally I'll have a video I might do on a food channel, like I just did with a couple of cheeses that I put on the beer channel as well, because they pair with cheese. I mean, the cheese pairs with beer, so I can cross platform them.
So is the food channel about pairing, or is it just about different beer?
It's just about different food I'm going to try or cook or whatever like that. So it's just food for the most part. Just
do you do any demos or just?
I've done like tasting of different cheeses that I've gotten. So I've done some of the cheese videos, and I've done like some grilling videos. When I started grilling last few months and stuff. So I'm kind of putting stuff like that out there. And then like I've done grilling, and I'll have like a beer while I'm grilling or something like that. But it's all in the food channel. It's kind of the food centric type thing. So whatever I put on there, the food is going to be the centerpiece of it all.
Well, look, if you ever want to do something really simple, nothing that we have to go and buy 22 ingredients, but like cheese pairing, something like that, let us know for Tipsy Taco Tuesday. Tell us what style of beer, because most of us probably already have it in the refrigerator. And maybe do a demonstration. That would be nice. Yeah,
that'd be something. I'd be definitely interested. I mean, maybe like that beer chili or something as well. So, although
I mean that we definitely could do something, because, like I said, it's all about education with us.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting exposure, helping you get exposure too. We all work together.
Yeah.
And so, so if there's something that you want to do, like pairing, I mean, I'm all in.
Yeah, we could definitely do something there. And it's funny because I don't know where you're at, if you like have Kroger where you're at or one of their chains.
No, we have Jewel-Osco, we have Whole Foods, Mariano's, but our main grocery store is Jewel-Osco.
I wonder, because I know Kroger's like the biggest in the country, and they have stuff under them. But anyway, they have like food. They have like beer tasting cheeses now that you can get in the store. Like 3 different cheeses, and you just it'll tell you what it might pair with.
Tasting cheese.
Yeah, so maybe like a beer tasting or cheese tasting or something like that as well.
Yep, cheese and beer tasting.
Yeah,
I mean, like I said, the Trader Joe's, you can get, like, if you don't like go all to this Francois type cheese, Italian cheese. You can go to Trader Joe's or somewhere.
We got that here too.
Like you give about 3 or 4 cheeses, and then tell us what style beer to get.
Yeah,
most people already have it.
That's
so true. Like whenever you want to definitely do that, because we do that. We let you do your demonstration. People try, because you're basically going to show us how to savor the taste, whatever, experience it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also follow it with a game, and so people are already a little toasted after the game. You already had cheese and all kinds of stuff. So people be shooting out all kinds of answers.
CB said,
but at least
my buddy CB's been in the sauna listening, and Mickey is great. Well, appreciate that, my friend.
Thank you.
CB, nothing but the best here. Nothing but the best. Beer game and fun times.
But it's a good thing. So we can get that together. I know you're busy, but whenever you want to, we can get that together. And
we can definitely.
Everybody enjoy it.
Thanks, Jermaine. Man, you got to be positive about stuff. I mean, trust me. There's days when I see some of the stuff happen, and it's like, really? But at the same point, we all have an opportunity. It's like what's the movie in Tennessee with what you call him? He was the pimp.
In Tennessee?
He was the pimp, and he had the Hookers 3 6 Mafia soundtrack. Hustle and Flow. Hustle and Flow.
Okay, yeah.
And like his
that
soundboard.
was shot in Tennessee.
Yeah. There's like the soundboard guys. Like everybody's got a story to tell. So I'm like, everybody got something they can share out there.
And it's true.
Yeah, it's just
everybody
finding your
has
outlet.
a story to tell, and now everybody has. If you're willing to do it, everybody has a way of collaborating and making things better for other people.
Right.
Like just a fun experience. Like we're living in a time we ain't never thought we would see. So we, connecting and getting a good experience. It's like I drink wine, but I didn't know about swishing wine around and all this kind of stuff. And I wouldn't have cared about that anyway. It was just a simple fact that everybody enjoyed it. We were supporting a Black business. And I drank the whole bottle of wine anyway. So it was like, okay.
Well, it's like
God, sisters, you number one.
it's like me being here in Kentucky, right? And Kentucky's the bourbon state, right? And people we talk about the bourbon that we have, and it's like, well, here in Kentucky, in the reality of things, everybody's just drinking out of shots glasses or rocks glasses, rather. Not shot glasses, rocks. But it's like the people interview are like, oh, you need to get like a Glengarry glass, which I end up getting, but it's kind of like, you seen a Glengarry? You know what Glengarry glass is, right?
Well, it's just like that one it's like it has a wide bottom and like at the
like
top.
This one right here, right?
Yes.
But it's funny because that's how you're supposed to do it, and it brings up the notes and everything to make it easier and for you to pick them up. And
Glengarry?
Glencairn. I think it's Glen and then Karen.
Okay.
But but the funny thing is like living in Kentucky, and I got a lot of friends that have bourbon channels on YouTube. You don't ever see these people in the bourbon bars. Everybody's got. I wouldn't have known if somebody said, "Well, this is going to actually
you just
enhance the experience."
You just
like everybody else drinks it like in a rocks glass, and they just kind of knock it back or whatever like that. But when you get something like this, you open it up, you let it sit for a bit, it brings out the notes, and you're able to take that sniff and get like the aroma off of it, whatever tones it may have, and then you sip out of this one, and it enhances the flavor of it. I'm like,
I would at least like the experience.
Yeah, I was like, I never knew that Kentucky. Everybody else is just like put it in a glass and they just knock it back.
Look at that. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I get all kinds of information from conversations. Conversations.
Yeah, it's like I tell people, it's like Yogi Berra, you don't know until you know.
You do not know until you know. Glencairn. Yeah, you know what? It's so funny because I've seen those when people be having their cigars and all that stuff. But I guess because when I did get it bourbon, I have this little mini snifter that I got from a brewery. I'll put it in there.
Yeah.
Or a shot glass.
Yeah. And even with a snifter,
shot glasses then, right?
Well, we have the shot glasses as well, but I mean that's kind of like people just shoot them or whatever. But the snifter, you still have that taper going in on the top, so it probably still helps it. But it's just funny because had I not, had it pointed out to me, I'd have never thought that. And I'm in a state that features bourbon as the pretty much state drink. And it's like everybody I knew that drank bourbon always drank it out of you go to a bar, you don't see any of these usually there. Now, if you go to probably one of the clubs, like the country club, elite clubs, whatever it may be, or whatever, kind of the stiff type clubs, you'll probably have people back there with the cigar that might have a glass like this. But if you're going to your everyday type stuff, you're not seeing those anywhere.
I just want to get one just to try it. Because it was funny because like at Spiteful Brewery here, they sell little mini, really nice looking, but they have stems, snifters. Mm-hmm. And so I use that sometimes, like if I'm going to be on a Zoom or something like that with somebody and it's like high ABV and something, and I'm not trying to drink that whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I was using that. So just to have the glassware, like I'm like a glassware buff just to see what if I get it, but I don't think I'm enough into bourbon. You know what I mean? Yeah, to understand it, but just to have the experience, I'm good as long as that glass is not $30.
No. I think this it was like I think they're like 8 or 9 or something usually. So
that's okay. Well,
the way they're designed or whatever, you think, well, that's for that. Like, it's the way it's done. I mean, this is actually pretty solid.
Well, it's not the right one if it's not $30, but then I got the fake one. How about that? Yep. And I'm gonna drink it right up out of here. Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, it's been awesome. And Rod, I've not seen Beats on Netflix, but I'll make a note to check that out as well.
On Netflix. Yeah. I'm taking notes of everything. Any suggestions? Beats on Netflix.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out. I did see that it was sad to see, DMX dying.
Oh yeah.
But his movie that he had done was trending in the top 5 on Netflix now. So DMX is huge.
DMX did.
What was the name of the DMX movie? Let me take a look here.
I bet you it's getting I bet you Netflix is
He's done a few different movies, but this was one that he did, I think it was back in the 90s.
Oh yeah, okay. No. I've seen his old movies. But yeah, he was
Cradle to the Grave.
Artist.
Cradle to the Grave is the one that's in the top 5 now on Netflix, they were saying.
He was a serious artist, but he to me, just like when I watched the Billie Holiday show, but there are some people that when they pass away, you feel like they're finally gonna rest.
Yeah. There's
he's one of those guys that the demons, the history was so great that it was just so much. He was very transparent, but I'm sure it was so many things that he had to deal with.
Yeah.
He had to deal with rejections and abuse and different things that the average Joe just didn't have to deal with.
No.
I mean, quite honest, I'm shocked DMX made it to 50.
Yeah.
Because he had been going through so much. And Roxanne Shante, I just felt so bad for her.
Oh, you saw the video she did then?
Yeah, she was just explaining, and it is so true. If you have not gone through, I didn't even think about what she was saying until she said it. She was like, when you are out there, you're poor, you don't have nothing, and you're spending the night over people's houses, and it's the uncles, the fathers, the uncles, all of them trying to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about that. You're just thinking of somebody being able to stay at their best friend's house.
Yeah.
All of the stuff. And then she said they shared that. And it was just like, wow, it's so interesting to hear other people's stories because it helps you, or it should help you to get a better perspective of where you are. And how blessed you are if you're not, if you haven't gone through the same thing.
The same type of situation. Yeah, I mean, DMX, he was 50. I'm actually 52. So, I mean, he was part of my growing up period.
Me too.
For me, it was, when back in the 90s, for instance, like at the time when we were doing the radio type stuff, I mean, we actually, our station, we had a show, but the total station was alternative and stuff. So it was kind of like later in the night, when Kurt Cobain died, you kind of felt something there as well, just because he spoke to a lot of the youth of our generation and stuff. But DMX was just different. I mean, maybe because I was black, he was black, whatever. Our experiences were different. Never had to go through the trauma he had to go through, but at the same time, the words he was saying, you could relate to because it felt like you knew people on the stories he was talking about. You know what I mean? So it made it so real on what he was doing.
Because he was so real. Like he was telling his story, and he was even putting his emotions, like, so how some people put walls up.
Yeah.
He actually barked like a dog. Like, how when a dog, like, you get too close.
Right. That was his reaction. Yeah,
he was a serious, a super artist. And the sad part about it is most artists that are that talented have such a traumatic story to tell.
Exactly.
And that's what makes them such geniuses.
Yeah.
And you're just like, whoa, just like even with Aretha Franklin, she happened to grow up with money.
Yeah.
But her story, even though, psychologically, her father had her believe in something totally different. Yeah. Her story was traumatic.
Yeah.
And it's like that's why they're so good at what they do,
Yeah.
And that's why some people who get up and need ghostwriters, people like DMX, people like Aretha Franklin, people like who have really gone through Roxanne Shantana, they don't need anybody to help them.
Well, you look at Prince's background. He grew up in an abusive dad and everything. Yeah.
Prince, you know, and it's just like when you get to the people who are true storytellers and they're telling the truth, they are the best. Like just like those are the best songwriters.
Yeah.
The best songwriters.
Well, they had that pain.
They always talk about how manly and how hopeless romantic. You can tell he is.
Yeah.
Because of the crap he has put up with before in the songs that he made.
Yeah.
He really has this in his mind about this fantasy type love. And but the hardcore people, Miss Chalet, are you know, things that she even the song she did over. She chose the right song, Billie Holiday, all of them. You know, women have always had to deal with some this awful things in the music industry. The movie industry is just so harsh on these people.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that you see now that has made and been a big celebrity, they have done something that they have demons and it's just driving them crazy. And this one lady was saying, unless you have somebody that protects you and or some big leader that protects you, then you just mincemeat in those industries.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's with the stuff that happened, it's happened for years. Some of the stuff
it's happened for years. I mean, I just feel so bad. Like I just feel. But DMX, I hate he passed away, but I just feel that he's at peace. I feel that Billie Holiday is at peace. Now I don't know if you watch the MSNBC, but one of my favorite people was Midwin Charles, and she passed away. And it's like she's only 47.
I saw the thing on her. Yeah.
Nobody's saying, and she had happy hours on Friday nights, and they would be getting towed up off of that expensive alcohol they can afford.
Yeah.
But nobody's saying anything that really happened. What really happened to her?
Yeah.
Which that's sort of interesting, you know. Because if it would have been a car accident, or if it would have been, and you know, of course, everybody's talking about COVID, but no.
Yeah. But, well, last I saw, it said it was still being looked into, I guess, but
it's sad, but I've seen the history of people not knowing or not being quiet. Usually, a lot of times it's suicide, but but they won't say it. But I'm not going to say that's what it is. I'm just saying it's just entirely too quiet. You know, once one of us get a hold of a story, we done told it. We don't know it yet. Then there's something really, really. But I mean, I just loved her comedy. She was so smart, and she was talk with humility. Like she would talk like us, like saying Donald Trump wasn't invited to the cookouts and stuff. and she was like, and none of them. Like I mean, none of them. But I mean, it was just tragic. I don't know why that just hit me a different. It just I don't know. It just bothered me.
Well, hopefully that's nothing. But depression is well hidden in a lot of people. I mean, Robin Williams was one of the biggest people that was depressed the whole time, and he took his own life. And Robin Williams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Depression can hit people at points,
but people don't understand that how heavy, depression and anxiety. People who don't really suffer it at all, they use it too loosely.
Yeah.
And you have people who have anxiety to the point that they have to pray they can make the next step. You know how some people how we could just get up and get up in the morning, go to the bathroom. There are some people that the anxiety can keep them paralyzed for a minute, and they prefer to sit there instead of go to the bathroom. And it's just like people don't understand how serious mental illness is. Yeah. And right now, people need to be very careful because there are a lot of people who never ever thought they would be going through some of the stuff they're going through right now. And they are on the edge. If you want to be reminded, watch Unhinged.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch Unhinged on Prime.
I've heard about that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Russell Crowe will get you together. I'm so scared of that man now. I said if I even see him, I would walk straight past him.
That was a scary role from what I heard that he played. Yeah. But
look, I'll tell you this, it's the truth. You have some people that you catch them when them wives have left them, when they lost their jobs, when they didn't. All they want is for you to either leave them alone or be nice.
Yeah.
Act like a Karen that day.
Yeah, there was just a road rage incident. It wasn't here, but it was on the news a couple weeks ago, and guy felt like he got cut off on the road or whatever when somebody was merging in and drove around the driver's or the passenger side, started firing bullets, killed the guy's wife.
Woo! Look, people don't play with this. People are on the edge right now.
Yeah. You never know what's going on in somebody's mind. That's for sure. Yeah.
And people are on, and just like now, when you used to be able to just talk, talk smack or somebody say something, shoot.
Yeah. You got to consider,
especially now. How many beers deep?
Yeah. I've only had 2 actually, so
listen, I only had one, but it was 13%, so I'm good.
Yeah, the second one I didn't share it, I don't think, but it was the West 6 Hop Static, their third version of the India Pale Ale. So this is out of Lexington.
Where's that from?
West 6 Brewing out of Lexington, Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a review coming on that one.
So do you drink a lot of bourbon aged barrel because of where you live, or?
I get bourbon aged barrel because I like them, but not just where I'm at. But we have a lot of breweries that actually do those.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, so I get a good amount. What I usually get that I keep in a cellar are usually bigger stouts. So the majority of our big stouts, because I can age those for years, essentially. Some stouts, some barley wines I can age for a long time. You have to know the styles you're dealing with and the ABVs and stuff. So you won't find a lot of IPAs in my cellar because you drink those a little quicker. Yeah. Unless I just purchase something new, but it's mainly stouts, barley wines, a lot of Belgian ales that I'll have down there. I still got like some of the Bourbon County stuff from a couple years ago. It's just a matter. Like I've got like Epic, they do the Big Bad Baptist series, and I've got like
I always get some of
like
those.
11 or 12 of those I haven't cracked open yet. So it's just like I haven't had time to drink all the different beers.
Epic was there. Okay.
Yeah, we get Epic and Jungle Gyms, man. They get everything for the most part. Jungle Gyms is my good. And it's funny, Jungle Gyms is just one spot here. So I've got like other spots too where they're like off the beaten path, which is excellent. Like I got it. One place, it's called Depths. It's kind of a wholesale type place, but I picked up at Depths, DEPS. But they're like hit and miss on stuff. But I picked up like a case of Ford Extra Stout years ago for $12.99. A case of Guinness Ford Extra Stout, $12.99.
Really?
Yeah, and they'll have deals like that down there. And then I got another place called Party Source and Party Town where they have different stuff. And then I got the local shops, little bottle shops. One of my new places called The Standard. They have some pretty good deals. It's just we have a lot of beer. Cincinnati, I don't know if you saw the video I did before, but Cincinnati was voted the number one place.
My best friend that I grew up with lives in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati was voted the number one place for beer drinkers in the country. 2 years in a row now because of the access of the beer, the cost of the beers, the amount of beer we have. Probably around Cincinnati, we got like 60 plus breweries right now around the Cincinnati area. So that's not counting the ones that are coming in from like Dayton and coming in from Lexington and Louisville and Indiana. And Cincinnati's just got a lot of stuff going on.
Y'all got a lot going on. That's all I know. I definitely have to get down there. At some point.
When you get down here, you let me know. We'll get it hooked up. And
I'll definitely get in touch with you because I can't go to Jungle Gyms without the tour guide.
Yeah.
I am going to see how I can wedge that in though, because I definitely need to do Atlanta, North Carolina, and I definitely want to, but we can't go to Belgium, so I'm just going to hit whatever once I get, because I get my second COVID shot.
Today. Yeah, Asheville's next on my list to get down there as well. So, but
whenever you're here, whenever you're headed here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well,
Just
you and ABC are on the speed dial. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
She'll show you some stuff too.
Yeah. So it'll definitely
get all together. We'll be good.
But I definitely appreciate having you on. These shows go pretty quick. Like we've been on 3 hours almost now. So I was like, get people on here and they're like, well, how long? Oh, well, I don't know, for a little. It was like they're like, man, how long have I been on this show already? Like that's how we do it. We just kind of kick it, have fun, drink some beers, talk about what we talk about. The next thing you know, it's like, shit, I gotta get some other stuff done before I go to bed. So
this has been so much fun. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, so once we come out, we'll be announcing the new chapter, whatever, and we'll all keep up together and just keep uplifting ourselves, each other. If there's something I can do for you, don't hesitate.
Yeah, I'll get you on. I'll get you on some more. I have to get you on my next one. I did Women in Beer Volume 1 about a month and a half ago, and I had ABC was on, and then I had Pints and Panels, M from there, and I had Gloria from Crafted Minds. It was all women panel except me, and so they had a blast. We kicked it, and I'm like, don't worry, this is just Volume 1. We'll be back with Volume 2. So
you should come to. I'm going to send you a link when I get it. It's the Clubhouse is Women in Craft Beer. Do you have an iPhone?
I got the iPhone. I'm waiting to get in the damn Clubhouse. I don't got that clout yet.
If there's some way I could get you in, because I have way that I could get you in if I send you my information.
Okay.
But on Wednesday night, Craft Women Connect have and they let men come and talk. You sit in the waiting room and talk to them, but at the end of the time, they let the men come in and talk. But you get to connect with women, and that's a lot of the guys. Have really been like, oh, this is cool. Like that we could connect with the ladies. And so, I can get you that information. I'll shoot you my information and then I'll shoot you the link.
Yeah, it looks like I need an invite text still, but yeah.
Yep.
But yeah,
I can invite you once I get into the thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Sounds good.
No, but it's been awesome. And Tremaine's like, shoot, I need to move to Cincinnati, Rob. Currently in Detroit.
Right?
Yeah.
Detroit's
got some good beers.
That's where my family is, Detroit. All right. Okay.
All right. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get signed off here. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. It was great having you. And please make sure to check out Mickey here, Black and Brew Chicago Incorporated. Check out the site, BABchicago.com, as you can see scrolling there on the bar as well. And when I get this updated, I'll get the information in the description as well. It might be in the description now. I'll have to double check it. Okay. That way they can hit the website up and stuff. But
this has been so much fun.
Oh, it's been awesome. It's great having you here and talking beer and getting into stuff. And we'll have some other stuff to come back. And, maybe I do get a panel again, just the beers we're drinking. I'm trying to do different things. I experiment with different things. Just Beer Talk Live is one of the next things I wanted to do and get the spotlight on different people doing stuff. So, again, appreciate you being here for that. And,
and then
always a fun time.
Any connections you want to, think of, talk. Hey, I'll see what we can all do together.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Rod.
Thank you, Mickey, and everybody else out there.
Thanks, everybody.
Look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Keep drinking those good craft beers. Remember, there's always time. Get your beer on. Cheers, everybody.
Absolutely.